Brought to you by Bookspots.com.
The Screams That Will Never End. A horror novella by legend Srinidhi Ranganathan. Chapter 1, The Whispers in the Dark. You never believed in ghosts. Not really. But as you stand in front of the old Whitmore house, a shiver creeps up your spine, and you can't shake the feeling that something is watching you. The sun dips low in the sky, casting long shadows across the cracked sidewalk, and the wind howls like a warning. Are you really going in there? Your friend Sarah asks, her voice trembling slightly. She shifts from foot to foot, glancing at the decaying structure that looms before you. The paint is peeling, the windows are broken, and a dense fog seems to wrap around it like a shroud. You shrug, trying to appear nonchalant. It's just a house, Sarah. Besides, we have to see what everyone's talking about. You remember the stories, how the last family that lived here vanished without a trace, leaving behind only echoes of laughter that turned into screams. The rumors have spiraled into urban legend, feeding on the town's fear like a parasite. Sarah takes a step back, her wide eyes reflecting the fading daylight. Maybe we should just go home. I mean, it's getting dark. You roll your eyes, but inside, a knot of anxiety tightens. You've heard the tales, too, the whispers that seep from the walls, the eerie glow at night, the chilling screams that echo through the town. But curiosity gnaws at you, urging you forward. Come on, it'll be fun. We'll just take a look inside, and if it's too creepy, we'll leave. I promise. You offer her a smile, but deep down, you know you're trying to convince yourself just as much as her. With a reluctant sigh, Sarah finally nods. Okay, but if I scream, I'm dragging you with me. You push open the creaky gate, its rusty hinges groaning like an old man. The path to the front door is overgrown with weeds, twisting and curling like fingers reaching for the sky. As you step closer, the atmosphere changes. It's not just the chill in the air, it's something thicker, something that feels alive. The front door stands ajar, as if inviting you into its gaping maw. You glance back at Sarah, who hesitates, her face pale in the dying light. Maybe we should knock. On what? You scoff, stepping into the threshold. The air inside is stale, filled with the scent of mildew and memories long forgotten. Dust dances in the dim light, swirling around you like lost souls. As you venture deeper, your footsteps echo off the walls, each sound swallowed by the oppressive silence. You can't help but notice the photographs lining the hallway, framed faces staring blankly at you, their eyes filled with sorrow. Suddenly, a chill runs down your spine as you hear it, a faint whisper. It's barely audible, but it's there, slithering through the air like smoke. You freeze, straining to hear. Help, it seems to say, a haunting plea that wraps around your heart. Did you hear that? You whisper to Sarah, your breath hitching in your throat. Hear what? She replies, her voice shaky. You glance back at her, but the look in her eyes tells you she's already regretting this adventure. It sounded like someone. Stop it, she hisses, stepping closer. Let's just go back. But your curiosity drives you forward. You take a deep breath, pushing the creeping fear aside. I have to know what's going on in this house. You move deeper into the gloom, the whispers growing louder, more insistent. Help us, they call, echoing around you. You feel their urgency seep into your bones, chilling you to the core. Come on, let's go, Sarah pleads again, her voice rising in panic. You hesitate, torn between the irresistible pull of the mystery and the urgent need to escape. But before you can decide, the floorboards creak underfoot, and you catch a glimpse of something moving in the corner of your eye. A flicker of movement, a shadow darting just out of sight. Did you see that? You gasp, your heart racing. What? Sarah asks, panic etched across her face. You turn, and in that moment, a piercing scream erupts from the depths of the house, an agonizing cry that seems to rip through the very fabric of reality. It echoes around you, a sound so raw and filled with pain that it paralyzes you. And as the screams fade into silence, you realize that whatever is lurking in the Whitmore house is not just a figment of your imagination. It is very real, and it is waiting for you. Let's get out of here. Sarah screams, grabbing your arm and tugging you toward the door. But you're rooted to the spot, the weight of the unknown pressing down on you. The house isn't done with you yet. You can feel it, its presence, its hunger, and its screams that will never end. Chapter 2, Shadows in the Hall. You're frozen, caught in the grasp of a fear you've never known. The scream echoes in your ears, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks just beyond the light. You can see Sarah's panic-stricken face as she pulls at your arm, desperate to escape, but you can't move. The urge to run is strong, but the curiosity is stronger, a morbid fascination that keeps you rooted to the spot. "Did you hear that?" you whisper, your voice trembling. "Of course I did. Now can we please go?" Sarah's eyes dart around the dimly lit hallway, as if expecting something to leap out at any moment. You can see the resolve slipping away from her, replaced by sheer terror. As if in response to her fear, a gust of wind rushes through the hallway, slamming the door behind you with a deafening thud. The sound reverberates through the empty house, and your heart leaps into your throat. You're trapped. You take a deep breath, forcing your legs to move. Okay, let's just. But as you turn to follow Sarah back to the door, a shadow flits across the wall, flickering in and out of sight. You whirl around, your pulse pounding in your ears. The hallway stretches before you, dark and foreboding, and you can almost hear the house breathing around you. "Please," Sarah whispers, her voice barely a breath. "I don't like this. Let's go home." "Just a minute," you reply, even though every instinct screams at you to flee. You need to see what's in that darkness, what secrets the house holds. "Let me just check one more room." Sarah shakes her head vehemently, but you're already moving. You step into a room on your right, a dusty living room, filled with remnants of a life once lived. A tattered couch sits in the corner, its fabric worn and faded, and an old television stands like a sentinel, coated in years of dust. The air feels heavy, thick with memories. You scan the room, searching for any signs of what might have happened here. And then, you see it, a small door slightly ajar at the far end of the room. The shadows behind it beckon, whispering promises of secrets untold. "Don't go in there." Sarah's voice breaks through your thoughts, but the allure of the unknown is too strong. You step toward the door, each creak of the floorboard sounding like a warning. As you pull the door open, the musty scent of damp wood fills your nostrils. It leads down a narrow staircase, disappearing into darkness. A chill runs down your spine, but the whispers grow louder, drawing you in. "Help us please. Are you crazy?" Sarah's voice is strained, her fear palpable. "You can't go down there." You hesitate, caught between the need to discover what lies below and the growing dread in your friend's eyes. "Just a quick look," you say, forcing a smile, but it feels hollow. "I promise I'll come right back." Before she can protest further, you step down the first few stairs, the wood creaking under your weight. Each step feels like a descent into another world, a world where reality blurs and nightmares take shape. The air grows colder, wrapping around you like icy fingers. "Please." Sarah's voice follows you, trembling with fear. "I'll wait for you up here. Just don't go down there." Ignoring her pleas, you reach the bottom of the staircase, and the darkness envelopes you completely. You pull out your phone, using its weak light to cut through the blackness. The beam illuminates a small, damp room, the walls lined with peeling wallpaper that resembles veins spreading across a heart. And then you see them, old photographs taped haphazardly to the walls, faces twisted in agony. They're familiar somehow, and you realize they're images of the Whitmore family, the very family that disappeared years ago. Your breath hitches as you step closer, the whispers now swirling around you, urging you to listen. "Help us." Your heart races as you reach for a photograph. A girl, no older than you, stares back at you, her eyes wide with fear. You can't help but feel a connection to her, a pull that makes your skin crawl. As you turn the photo over, something drops from the back, a small, brittle note. You can barely make out the faded words, asterisk they took us. The screams will never end, asterisk. Suddenly, the floorboards creak loudly behind you. You whirl around, heart pounding in your chest. The door you came through slams shut, plunging you into darkness. Panic rises within you, your breath coming in quick gasps. You rush to the door, but it won't budge. You push and shove, but it feels as though something, some unseen force, is holding it shut. Sarah, you shout, desperation creeping into your voice. I can't get out. The whispers grow louder, more insistent. Help us, help us. You slam your palm against the door, your heartbeat thundering in your ears. You can't stay here. Not now. Not ever. With a surge of adrenaline, you turn back to the room, searching for another way out. But as your eyes adjust to the dim light, you see them, shadows flitting at the edges of your vision, figures moving just beyond the beam of your phone. They're not just shadows, they're people. They're the missing Whitmores. Help us, the voices chant in unison, their hollow eyes boring into yours. You stumble back, fear coursing through your veins. You want to run, to escape, but the shadows reach out, their fingers brushing against your skin like ice. The room starts to swirl, the whispers drowning out your thoughts. And then it hits you, you're not just trapped in this house. You're trapped in their nightmare. As you claw at the door in a frenzy, you can feel the walls closing in, the screams echoing in your mind. You need to escape before their terror consumes you, too. But as the shadows close in, you realize it may already be too late. The screams will never end, and you might just become one of them. Chapter 3, The Cold Embrace. You fight against the door, panic clawing at your throat. The shadows loom closer, their whispers merging into a cacophony of despair. Help us, they chant, their voices weaving together like a sinister tapestry of dread. You can feel their icy breath on your skin, sending chills coursing through your body. Get away from me, you scream, but the words barely escape your lips before the shadows lurch forward, reaching for you with gnarled fingers. You scramble back, your heart racing as the darkness swirls around you. Desperation fuels your strength, and you turn back to the door, throwing your weight against it one last time. Sarah! I need help. You pound on the wood with all your might, but it's as if the house itself is holding you captive, refusing to let you go. Just when you think all hope is lost, the door rattles violently. You freeze, holding your breath. Is it Sarah? Did she come to save you? The door creaks open slightly, revealing a sliver of light from the staircase above. I'm here. I'm coming. Sarah's voice sounds panicked, and a surge of relief washes over you. You shove the door harder, and it bursts open, sending you tumbling back into the living room. You don't stop to catch your breath. You rush to Sarah, who stands at the top of the stairs, her face pale and drawn. What happened? She gasps, glancing nervously at the now closed door. Did you see something? They're here, Sarah. The Whitmores, they're trapped down there. We have to leave. You grab her hand, tugging her toward the exit, but she hesitates. Wait. What if they need help? Sarah's voice trembles, uncertainty flickering in her eyes. Help. You shake your head, your heart racing. They're not asking for help, they're begging for release. We have to get out before they pull us in, too. Just as you turn to flee, the air grows heavy again, a suffocating weight pressing down on you. The whispers echo in your ears, and you feel a cold breeze brush against your neck. The door you just escaped through shudders violently, rattling on its hinges. We can't stay here, you shout, pulling Sarah with you toward the front door. As you reach for the handle, you hear it, a faint scratching sound, like fingernails against wood, echoing from behind you. You glance back, and your blood runs cold. The shadows have begun to seep into the room, curling around the furniture like living smoke. Their hollow eyes are fixed on you, and you feel their hunger. Help us, they chant, their voices rising in a haunting chorus. No. You yank open the front door, the rush of cool air spilling inside, bringing with it the scent of freedom. You step out, pulling Sarah behind you, but just as you do, the shadows lurch forward, blocking your path. Run, you scream, your instincts kicking in. You dash down the porch steps, dragging Sarah along. You can feel the weight of the darkness behind you, pressing against your back as if trying to pull you back into its depths. The two of you race down the overgrown path, the whispers fading slightly as you put distance between yourself and the Whitmore house. Your lungs burn with the effort, but you don't dare look back. Where do we go? Sarah gasps, her breath coming in short bursts. Anywhere but here. You glance back just in time to see a shadowy figure standing in the doorway, watching you with hollow eyes. It raises a hand as if beckoning you to return. The sight sends a fresh wave of terror through you. As you reach the edge of the property, you feel the weight of the shadows begin to lift. The darkness retreats, but the whispers linger, wrapping around you like a cold embrace. You keep running until you reach the road, where the streetlights flicker to life, bathing everything in a warm glow. Are we safe? Sarah asks, her voice trembling as she glances over her shoulder. You nod, but uncertainty creeps in. For now. But they're still out there. The realization hits you like a punch to the gut. We need to figure out what happened to the Whitmores. We can't just leave them there. What? Are you insane? Sarah's eyes widen in horror. You just saw what they were. They're not people anymore. I know. You grip her shoulders, willing her to understand. But they're trapped in that house. If we don't do something, they'll keep screaming, and who knows what they might do next. What if they come after us again? Sarah shakes her head, panic etched on her face. I can't go back there. I can't. You feel your heart sink, but you know you can't do this alone. I'll go back, you say, your voice steadier than you feel. I have to. But I need you to help me. Help you? How? Research. Find out everything you can about the Whitmore family. There must be records, something that tells us what happened to them. We need to understand what we're dealing with. Sarah hesitates, fear flickering in her eyes. And if we find out it's too dangerous? What then? You look into her eyes, searching for resolve. Then we make a plan to stop it. Together. I can't face this alone. After a long moment, Sarah nods, though uncertainty still hangs in the air. Okay. But promise me we won't go back until we know what we're up against. You promise, even though a part of you knows that the pull of the Whitmore house won't let you go so easily. As you walk away from the house that harbors dark secrets, the whispers fade into the night. But deep down, you can still feel them, lurking in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike. And as you glance back one last time, you can't shake the feeling that the screams are far from over. Chapter 4: The Secrets of the Past. The sun rises, casting a soft golden light over the town, but you feel no warmth. You sit in your room, the glow of your computer screen illuminating the worry lines on your forehead. After last night's encounter, sleep has been elusive, each shadow in your room reminding you of the darkness that lies within the Whitmore house. Where do we even start? Sarah asks, perched on the edge of your bed, her brow furrowed in concentration. You've spent hours digging through the town's online archives, but the information about the Whitmores is scarce, almost as if someone has tried to erase them from history. You tap the keys furiously, your heart racing. There has to be something. Old newspaper articles, city records, anything that can tell us what happened to them. As you scroll through the results, a headline catches your eye: family disappears without a trace, the mystery of the Whitmores. Your breath catches in your throat as you click the link. The article describes the Whitmore family, Daniel, Marissa, and their 2 children, Emily and Jacob. They moved into the old house years ago, but one night, the entire family vanished. No signs of struggle, no clues left behind. Just echoes of their last screams. Listen to this, you say, reading aloud. Witnesses reported hearing strange noises coming from the house days before the family disappeared, whispers, cries, and an unearthly wailing. Some say they even saw figures in the windows, but no one dared to approach. Sarah's eyes widen. Figures in the windows? That sounds just like what we saw. Exactly. You scroll further, eager for more details. It says here that a search party was formed, but after days of searching, no one found anything. It was as if the house swallowed them whole. What about the neighbors? Did they see anything unusual? Sarah leans closer, her curiosity piqued. You scan the article for more information. It mentions a few neighbors, but they all claim to have heard nothing. It's like the house I don't know, it has some kind of pull over people. You pause, your mind racing back to the night before, the way the shadows seem to tug at you, urging you closer. Suddenly, a new thought strikes you. What if there's more to the story? What if the neighbors knew something but were too afraid to speak out? That's a possibility, Sarah agrees, biting her lip. But where do we even find them? You take a moment to think. We could try visiting the old community center. It might have records or people who remember the Whitmores. If they're still around, maybe we can talk to them. But first, we should gather everything we can about the family and that house. With a renewed sense of determination, you and Sarah dive back into the research. You scour through old newspapers, town hall records, and local forums, piecing together fragments of the Whitmore family's history. Every scrap of information feels like a breadcrumb leading you closer to the truth. As the hours pass, a pattern begins to emerge. The Whitmores weren't just another family. They were intertwined with the town's history in ways you never expected. The more you read, the more you understand why the town seems so eager to forget them. Look at this, you say, pointing to another article dated years before the Whitmores' disappearance. There was a fire at the old mill where the Whitmores' grandfather worked. It was rumored to be cursed, and a lot of people died in that fire. Some even say their spirits linger, looking for vengeance. What if the family was trying to uncover something about it? Sarah suggests, her eyes wide. What if that's why they moved into that house? Or what if they found something they shouldn't have? You shudder at the thought. It's like they were drawn to it. It's all connected. Just then, your phone buzzes with a message. It's from your mom, reminding you to clean your room. You sigh, glancing at the disarray surrounding you, papers scattered everywhere, snacks left uneaten. We can't get distracted, you say, forcing your focus back to the task at hand. Let's finish this, and then we can head to the community center. But as you look down at the screen, your phone buzzes again, this time with an alert from a local news site. You open the notification, and your heart drops. Local teen missing after mysterious disappearance, last seen near the Whitmore house. You quickly read through the article, your stomach twisting in knots. A 16-year-old boy named Adam went missing just last week after he was reportedly seen near the old house. The police are asking for any information, and the community is on edge. Sarah, you whisper, the implications sinking in. What if the house is still claiming people? What if we're not the only ones drawn to it? Sarah's face pales, and you can see the fear creeping back into her eyes. What if we're next? No, you say firmly, trying to quell your own rising anxiety. We won't let that happen. We have to find out what's going on before more people disappear. The urgency propels you both into action. You gather your notes and print out the articles you found, determined to piece together the mystery before it's too late. As you head toward the community center, a heavy weight settles on your chest. You can feel the house's presence lingering in your mind, the whispers echoing in the back of your thoughts. Do you think they'll believe us? Sarah asks, her voice tinged with doubt. We have to make them believe us, you reply, stealing your resolve. Because if we don't, more screams will fill the night, and they'll never end. You step outside, the cool air hitting your face like a slap. But as you walk, the shadows seem to stretch around you, pulling you back toward the Whitmore house. You shake your head, willing the darkness to stay behind. You're on a mission, and you can't let fear win. Not now, not ever. Chapter 5, Voices of the Past. The community center stands at the edge of town, a weathered building that seems to sag under the weight of countless stories. As you and Sarah approach, a sense of foreboding washes over you. You can't shake the feeling that the answers you seek are waiting inside, but so might the echoes of the past, whispers of the Whitmores. Inside, the center is bustling with activity. People gather in small groups, chatting and laughing, unaware of the shadow looming over their community. You spot a bulletin board plastered with flyers, announcements, and photographs. You scan the familiar faces and the smiling families, but your gaze quickly falls to a section dedicated to missing persons, several faces staring back at you, including Adam's. Look, you whisper, pointing to the photos. We need to ask about him, too. Sarah nods, her expression grave. Let's find someone who might know more about the Whitmores. You approach a woman seated at a desk near the entrance. She's older, with silver hair pulled back into a neat bun and reading glasses perched on her nose. Excuse me, you say, trying to keep your voice steady. We're looking for information about the Whitmore family. We heard some things, and we want to help. The woman looks up, surprise flickering in her eyes. The Whitmores? That's a name I haven't heard in years. She leans back in her chair, studying you with a mixture of curiosity and caution. What do you want to know? You glance at Sarah, then back at the woman. We want to know what happened to them. We heard they disappeared, and now there's a boy missing, too. We think it might be connected. The woman's expression shifts, a shadow crossing her face. It's a dark story, she says quietly. One that the town prefers to forget. Please, you urge. We need to understand. People are in danger. She hesitates, then reaches for a file drawer behind her. I might have something that could help, she murmurs, pulling out a manila folder and flipping through it. The Whitmores moved here seeking a fresh start, but they were plagued by misfortune. It started with their son, Jacob. He began having nightmares, talking about shadows in the house. What kind of nightmares? Sarah asks, her voice barely above a whisper. Terrifying ones. He claimed he saw people, figures that appeared in the corners of his room, whispering to him. His parents thought it was just childhood imagination, but it grew worse. Then, Emily began to see them too. It drove them to the brink. You exchange a glance with Sarah, a chill creeping down your spine. What happened next? They reached out for help, but nobody could do anything. The local church even held a blessing, but it didn't work. Eventually, the family withdrew from the community. They stopped attending events, and it became clear they were consumed by whatever was haunting them. The woman's voice grows distant, as if she's recalling a painful memory. Then one night, they just vanished. Left everything behind. It was as if the house had taken them. A sense of urgency courses through you. Do you know where they might have gone? Did they leave any clues? The woman shakes her head sadly. The only clue was a letter found in the house, addressed to a distant relative. It mentioned the fire at the old mill and a family secret. But after that, no one ever heard from them again. You lean forward, intrigued. What did the letter say? I don't have it, she replies, her voice tinged with regret. But I remember it spoke of dark forces tied to their bloodline. Something they were trying to escape. It was vague, strange, really. Some in town thought it was just a story to rationalize their disappearance. But what if it's not? Sarah interjects, her eyes wide. What if that's why people are still going missing? The woman's expression hardens. It's possible. The town has always had its secrets, but the Whitmore house, it's a place of darkness. Some believe it's cursed. Cursed? You can't suppress your disbelief. How can a house be cursed? She leans closer, her voice barely above a whisper. There's a history. Before the Whitmores, a family lived there who also vanished. And before that, another. The cycle repeats. Each time, new screams fill the night. You shiver, the weight of her words sinking in. Is there any way to break it? She looks thoughtful for a moment. Some say that confronting the darkness is the only way. But that means going back to the house. The thought sends a jolt of fear through you. We can't go back there. Maybe we can find another way, Sarah suggests, glancing at you nervously. The woman nods slowly. Research. Find out more about the mill fire, the family's history. But be cautious. The house will try to draw you back in. It's like a siren's call. Thank you, you say, your mind racing with the new information. We will. As you and Sarah step away from the desk, a group of older residents gathers nearby, discussing Adam's disappearance. You catch snippets of their conversation, and a sense of urgency grips you. They say he was last seen near the Whitmore house, one of them says, his voice filled with concern. We should have known better than to let kids wander near that place. They never should have built there in the first place, another chimes in. It's cursed, I tell you. You exchange a worried glance with Sarah. We need to find Adam's parents. They might have more information. You make your way through the bustling center, your heart pounding. The stories intertwine like a web, drawing you further into the town's dark history. Just as you're about to ask for directions to Adam's house, a voice calls out to you from behind. Are you two looking for something? It's a middle-aged man with deep-set eyes and a furrowed brow, carrying a folder of papers. Yes, you say, feeling a spark of hope. We're trying to find out about Adam. We heard he went missing near the Whitmore house. Do you know anything? The man hesitates, glancing over his shoulder as if fearing someone might overhear. I might, he says finally. But it's not safe to talk here. Meet me at the old library after closing. I can tell you what I know about the Whitmores and Adam. He quickly scribbles down the address and hands it to you before disappearing into the crowd. You look at Sarah, excitement and anxiety battling in your chest. Do you think he can help us? She asks. I hope so, you reply, gripping the paper tightly. Because if there's a chance to find Adam and uncover the truth about the Whitmores, we can't let it slip away. As you leave the community center, the weight of the secrets and the screams hangs heavy in the air. The shadows seem to stretch and twist, and you know you're only one step closer to uncovering the dark legacy that has haunted this town for far too long. And deep down, you can feel it, whatever darkness lies ahead, it's waiting for you. Chapter 6, The Library's Secrets. The old library looms before you like a relic of a forgotten era, its brick facade covered in ivy that clings desperately to the walls. As you and Sarah approach, the sun begins to dip below the horizon, casting long shadows that stretch across the cracked pavement. A shiver runs down your spine, it feels as if the building itself is watching you. This place looks like it hasn't been touched in decades, Sarah remarks, her voice barely above a whisper. Maybe that's a good thing, you reply, trying to muster some optimism. Less chance of attracting unwanted attention. You push open the heavy wooden door, and the musty smell of old books hits you like a wave. Dust dances in the fading light, swirling around you as you step inside. The library is empty, the silence so profound it feels almost sacred. Do you think he's here yet? Sarah asks, glancing around anxiously. Let's find out, you say, moving deeper into the stacks. The rows of books tower over you, casting long shadows that seem to stretch and shift as you pass. You can't help but feel a strange sense of comfort in the knowledge held within these walls, even as the tension of the evening weighs heavily on your shoulders. You make your way to the back of the library, where a small reading room lies. As you enter, you spot the man from earlier, seated at a table cluttered with books and papers. He looks up, his expression serious. "Thank you for coming," he says, gesturing for you to sit. "I didn't want to discuss this in public." "What do you know about Adam?" you ask, leaning forward, your heart racing. The man nods, his eyes darkening. "I was one of the last people to see him. He was hanging around the old Whitmore house, trying to explore it with his friends. They were drawn in by the stories, the thrill of it. But only Adam went inside." "Did he say anything before he went missing?" Sarah asks, her voice trembling slightly. "He mentioned strange noises, whispers calling to him from inside," the man replies, his voice low. "I warned him not to go near that place. But you know how kids are, they think they're invincible." You exchange a glance with Sarah. "We heard whispers too," you say, your mind racing. "There's something in that house, something that wants to keep people there." The man leans back, a troubled expression on his face. "It's not just stories. The Whitmores, they weren't the first family to vanish. There have been others over the years. Each time, the house claims another victim. Why hasn't anyone done anything about it?" Sarah asks, frustration creeping into her tone. "People have tried," he replies, shaking his head. "But the town has a way of silencing those who speak up. Fear runs deep here. The last thing anyone wants is to stir the darkness that lurks in the Whitmore house." "Do you know anything about the fire at the mill?" you ask, desperate for any lead that might explain the connection between the families. The man's expression darkens. "The mill fire was a tragedy. Many lives were lost, but the whispers about it, they've been twisted over the years. Some say it was no accident. That it was revenge for something done long ago." "Revenge?" you echo, intrigued. "What do you mean?" He hesitates, choosing his words carefully. "There are stories of a family feud, a curse that began generations ago. The Whitmores were tied to that feud in ways that aren't fully understood. When they moved into the house, they were unknowingly stepping into a legacy of darkness." You lean in, your heart pounding. "So the house is part of this curse. And it wants to keep people?" "Exactly," he replies, his voice barely above a whisper. "It feeds on fear and despair, trapping those who wander too close. It doesn't just claim the living, it claims their souls. That's what happened to the Whitmores." A chill runs down your spine. "And what about Adam? Is there any chance we can find him?" He looks at you, his expression grave. "It's been days. If he's still alive, he's likely trapped in the same nightmare. You need to be careful. If you go back to that house, you risk losing yourselves in its darkness." You sit back, your mind racing. "But we can't just leave him there. We have to do something." The man reaches across the table, his voice firm. "Then gather as much information as you can. Research the Whitmore family and the mill fire. Find out if there's a way to break the curse. But be warned, whatever you uncover will lead you deeper into danger. The house will not let you leave easily." You nod, determination flooding through you. "We'll do whatever it takes." After a few more minutes of discussion, you and Sarah gather your notes, thanking the man for his time. As you make your way back through the library, a sense of urgency propels you. The weight of the town's secrets feels heavier now, and you can almost hear the whispers calling your name. Once outside, you take a deep breath, the night air cool against your skin. "We have to go back to the Whitmore house," you say, a mix of fear and resolve coursing through you. "Now." Sarah's eyes widen. "But it's dark. We have no idea what we're walking into." I know, you reply, your heart racing. But we don't have time to waste. Adam could be in danger, and we need to figure out how to stop this once and for all. With a deep breath, you take Sarah's hand, and together, you head toward the shadows of the town, the echo of the library's secrets lingering behind you. The closer you get to the Whitmore house, the more the air feels charged with energy. As you step onto the overgrown path leading up to the house, a sense of dread washes over you. The whispers seem to rise and fall like a haunting melody, urging you closer. But you press on, knowing that the truth, and perhaps the key to saving Adam, lies just beyond the door. You reach for the doorknob, your heart pounding in your chest. Whatever happens, stick together, you say to Sarah. She nods, her face a mixture of fear and determination. With a deep breath, you twist the knob and push the door open, the creaking sound echoing through the stillness. The darkness of the house yawns before you, a gaping maw ready to swallow you whole. Let's find out what the house has to say. Chapter 8, The Descent into Darkness. As the door swings open, a stale gust of air rushes past you, wrapping around your body like icy fingers. You step inside the Whitmore house, the wooden floorboards creaking beneath your weight. The dim light from the moon filters through grimy windows, casting eerie shadows that dance across the walls. The whispers, faint at first, grow louder as you cross the threshold. Are you sure we should be doing this? Sarah whispers, her voice trembling slightly. We have to, you reply, forcing the quaver out of your tone. We can't leave Adam behind. We'll find him. We have to. You move deeper into the house, your heart racing with each step. The air grows thicker, heavier, as if the house itself is aware of your presence. You glance at Sarah, who is clutching her flashlight like a lifeline. The beam cuts through the darkness, illuminating fragments of the past, a torn curtain here, a dusty family portrait there. Let's check the living room first, you suggest, leading the way. You remember the stories about the family, how they'd often gathered there, sharing laughter and warmth before the darkness crept in. As you enter the room, the memories seem to hang in the air like a thick fog. An old sofa, its fabric faded and worn, sits in front of a fireplace that hasn't been used in years. You notice the mantelpiece, lined with photographs of the Whitmores. The smiles and the pictures are haunting against the backdrop of what you now know happened here. You flick your flashlight across the room, illuminating every corner. Suddenly, something catches your eye, a faint outline on the wall. You step closer, brushing away the dust. It's a family portrait, but as you look closely, you realize something is wrong. Look at their eyes, you murmur, pointing. They look hollow. Sarah gasps. It's like they're not really there. Before you can respond, a cold draft sweeps through the room, extinguishing your flashlight momentarily. Panic surges as the darkness closes in. You fumble for the switch, heart pounding, and finally the light flickers back on, illuminating the room once more. Did you feel that? You ask, breathless. Yeah, it felt like a warning. Sarah glances at the door, her instincts screaming to leave. You take a step back, trying to shake off the unease. Let's keep looking. We need to find something, anything, that can help us understand what happened to the family. As you move deeper into the house, the whispers grow louder, intertwining with the creaks of the old structure. You pause, straining to hear. Did you catch that? You ask, turning to Sarah. It sounded like, she starts, her eyes wide. Help us. The air thickens with dread, and your stomach churns. We have to find Adam, you insist, trying to sound braver than you feel. Let's check the upstairs. If he's anywhere in this house, it might be there. You climb the staircase, each step groaning under your weight. The second floor is darker, the air heavy with dust and secrets. You scan the hallway, where several doors stand ajar, like mouths waiting to swallow you whole. Which room? Sarah asks, her voice barely above a whisper. You point to the first door on your left. Let's start there. As you enter the room, a chill washes over you. It's a child's bedroom, with toys scattered across the floor and a bed covered in faded sheets. A small desk in the corner is cluttered with crayons and half-finished drawings. But the atmosphere feels wrong, tainted by the darkness that permeates the house. You step further inside, and a picture on the wall catches your eye, one of Jacob and Emily, laughing, their faces alight with joy. But as you stare, the laughter seems to fade, replaced by the haunting echoes of their last moments. Do you think they were happy here, you ask, feeling a strange sadness settle over you. I don't know, Sarah replies, her voice trembling. Not after what happened. Suddenly, a loud crash reverberates from down the hall, shattering the silence. You jump, adrenaline coursing through your veins. What was that? You gasp. We should check it out, Sarah says, but there's hesitation in her voice. With a nod, you move cautiously toward the source of the noise, your heart pounding in your chest. You reach the next room, and as you push the door open, the sight before you steals your breath. The room is filled with overturned furniture, a desk lying on its side, papers scattered everywhere. In the corner, the air shimmers as if distorting reality itself. You step inside, your heart racing. Do you see that? You whisper, pointing to the swirling shadows that coalesce in the corner of the room. Before Sarah can respond, a voice cuts through the air, soft, pleading. Help us. You feel a cold chill wash over you, and instinctively take a step back. We have to go. This isn't safe. But as you turn to leave, the door slams shut behind you with a deafening bang. You whirl around, panic surging through you. Sarah, you call out, desperation lacing your voice. The shadows in the room begin to shift, forming shapes that swirl and dance in a macabre display. The whispers grow louder, echoing around you. Help us, they chant, drawing closer. Get away from us, you shout, your voice ringing through the chaos. You reach for the doorknob, but it won't budge. Stand back. Sarah cries, and you watch in horror as she lunges toward the shadows, her flashlight flickering in and out of existence. Wait, don't, you shout, but it's too late. As Sarah swings the flashlight through the darkness, it illuminates a figure, a shadowy apparition that looks like a child, its eyes empty and hollow. The figure reaches out, and you feel a surge of terror grip your heart. Help us, it pleads, the voice echoing with anguish. You stumble back, crashing into the wall as the shadows converge, wrapping around Sarah. No, you scream, lunging forward. Let her go. With a desperate surge of strength, you grab the nearest object, a broken chair leg, and swing it at the darkness. The moment it connects, the shadows writhe, releasing Sarah. Run, you shout, grabbing her hand as you race for the door. The whispers rise to a fever pitch, a cacophony of cries and screams that echo in your mind. You finally wrench the door open and stumble into the hallway, pulling Sarah along. We have to get out of here, you shout, the urgency of your words propelling you forward. But as you dash down the hall, the house seems to shift around you. Doors slam shut, trapping you in a maze of darkness. The whispers chase you, relentless and haunting, echoing off the walls. We're not going to make it. Sarah cries, tears streaming down her face. Yes, we will, you insist, your voice steady despite the panic clawing at your insides. Just keep running. You turn down another corridor, but the shadows seem to close in, their icy fingers brushing against your skin. You can feel the house's presence, an entity that wants to keep you forever. Suddenly, you spot a glimmer of light at the end of the hall. There, you shout, pulling Sarah toward it. As you sprint toward the light, the whispers turn to frantic screams, a desperate plea that chills you to the bone. Help us. Don't leave us. With one final push, you reach the door and burst outside into the cool night air. You stumble onto the porch, gasping for breath as the darkness recedes behind you. But just as you think you're free, the door to the Whitmore house slams shut with a thunderous crack, the sound echoing in the stillness. You and Sarah stand there, hearts racing, knowing the house still looms behind you, waiting, hungry for more. You look at each other, the gravity of your situation sinking in. We need to figure out how to stop this, you say, your voice steady despite the fear in your chest. Or it will keep claiming lives. Sarah nods, determination shining through her fear. We can't let that happen. As you turn to leave, a single voice echoes from the shadows of the house, chilling you to the core. Help us, we'll never be free. You take one last look at the house, its dark windows like hollow eyes watching you, and you know you've only scratched the surface of the terror that awaits. The fight is far from over, and the whispers are just beginning. Chapter 9, The Bloodline's Burden. You and Sarah stumble away from the Whitmore house, hearts pounding, the cold night air filling your lungs as you grasp for a semblance of calm. The weight of the darkness you just escaped lingers, as if it's wrapped around you like a shroud. Where do we go now? Sarah breathes, glancing over her shoulder as if expecting the house to come crashing after you. Back to the library, you say, urgency seeping into your voice. We need to dig deeper into the history of the Whitmores and that fire. There has to be something that connects all of this. As you sprint down the path toward town, shadows flicker in the corners of your vision, the whispers still echoing in your mind. Each step feels heavy with the weight of the secrets you're unearthing. The night seems to stretch endlessly, the moon a pale witness to your determination. When you finally reach the library, its facade appears even more foreboding under the glow of the street lamp. You push through the doors, the familiar musty smell greeting you. The library feels both a refuge and a haunting reminder of what lies ahead. Inside, you make your way to the back, where you find the man from before hunched over a stack of old newspapers. His eyes widen when he sees you, a mixture of surprise and concern crossing his face. What happened? He asks, noticing the panic in your eyes. You take a deep breath, trying to steady yourself. We went to the Whitmore house. It's worse than we thought. There's something in there, something dark. He nods, his expression grave. I warned you. The house doesn't let go easily. Did you find anything? Not much, you reply, shaking your head. But we need to know more about the Whitmore family and the fire at the mill. We think it might be connected to Adam's disappearance. All right, let's see what we can uncover, he says, motioning for you to join him at the table. You lean over the papers he's laid out, scanning the headlines. Most are about the mill fire, a catastrophic event that consumed the old building and took the lives of several workers. One headline stands out, Mill Fire Claims Lives, Families Torn Apart. Beneath it, a smaller article catches your eye, detailing the Whitmore family's involvement in the aftermath. Look, you say, pointing to a paragraph. It says the Whitmores lost a family member in the fire. A cousin named Thomas. The man leans closer, frowning. That's right. Thomas was said to be a troublemaker, involved in some shady dealings. His death marked a turning point for the family. After that, the whispers began. Whispers? Sarah echoes, a sense of foreboding creeping back in. Yes, he replies. People claimed to hear voices in the night, and the family became increasingly isolated. They believed Thomas's spirit haunted them, seeking revenge for the family's betrayal. You can't shake the feeling that this is the missing link you've been searching for. What kind of betrayal? The man flips through the papers, his expression pained. There were rumors of a feud between Thomas and Jacob, the eldest Whitmore. Some said it was over money, others said it was something darker, something tied to their lineage. The Whitmores were known to keep their past hidden, and it seems they paid a terrible price for it. You lean back, the pieces of the puzzle falling into place. So the house is not just haunted, it's tied to a bloodline. The Whitmores were cursed because of this feud? Exactly. The house amplifies their fears and grief, feeding off their despair. It's a cycle that continues, drawing in new victims. A shiver runs down your spine. And Adam is just the latest casualty. The man nods. If you want to break the cycle, you'll need to confront the truth of their past, whatever darkness lies at the heart of it. But how? Sarah asks, her voice barely a whisper. Where do we even begin? Let's look for any family records, the man suggests. There might be something in the archives, letters, diaries, anything that sheds light on the Whitmore family's history. You nod, determination igniting within you. Let's get to it. As you dig through the stacks of old files, you uncover scraps of paper, diaries filled with scrawled thoughts, family trees that lead to dead ends, and letters that speak of desperation. Hours slip by as you sift through the past, but the deeper you dig, the more chilling the revelations become. Finally, you come across a small, leather-bound journal with the initials E.W. embossed on the cover. This must be Emily's, you say, excitement bubbling in your chest. You flip it open, revealing neat handwriting that flows across the pages. As you read, Emily's words pull you into her world, a world filled with fear, paranoia, and visions of shadows lurking in every corner. I see them every night, one entry reads. The whispers won't stop. They want me to join them, but I'm not like Jacob. I won't give in. You exchange a glance with Sarah, the weight of the entry settling over you. She knew something was wrong. They were tormented by whatever haunted this house. Keep reading, the man urges, his eyes locked on the pages. You turn to the next entry, which sends a chill down your spine. Mother says it's our blood that brings the darkness. We must break the cycle or we'll be lost forever. I can't let them take Jacob. Break the cycle, you murmur, your mind racing. It sounds like she was searching for a way to escape the curse. Maybe there's a way, Sarah adds, hope flickering in her eyes. What if we find a way to confront this Thomas? You flip through more pages until you come across a mention of the old mill. There's a reference here to the night of the fire. Emily talks about a confrontation between Jacob and Thomas just before everything went up in flames. Do you think that's where we can find answers? Sarah asks, her voice tinged with urgency. It's worth a shot, you reply, determination flooding your veins. If we can uncover what really happened that night, we might have a chance to save Adam. The man nods, his expression serious. But be careful. If the house is tied to their bloodline, whatever darkness awaits you at the mill will be powerful. You and Sarah exchange a resolute glance. We can't back down now, you say firmly. We have to do this for Adam. With newfound resolve, you gather the journal and the clippings, tucking them under your arms as you prepare to leave. The library, once a sanctuary, now feels like a ticking clock, counting down to the moment you confront the darkness. As you step out into the night, the air is thick with tension, and the shadows seem to shift as if they know you're coming. You take a deep breath, knowing that you're about to delve into the very heart of the Whitmore family's curse. The mill awaits, a place where echoes of the past will collide with the present, and the screams that never end might finally be silenced. Chapter 10, The Mill of Memories. The moon hangs low in the sky, casting a silver glow over the landscape as you and Sarah make your way toward the old mill. Each step feels heavier, the weight of the past pressing down on you. The journal you've tucked under your arm feels like a burden, its pages filled with secrets that should have remained buried. Do you think we'll really find something at the mill? Sarah asks, her voice barely above a whisper as you walk along the overgrown path. I have to believe we will, you reply, forcing a sense of conviction into your words. If we can understand what happened that night, maybe we can help Adam. The mill comes into view, its silhouette stark against the night sky. The structure is crumbling, vines snaking up its sides, nature slowly reclaiming what was once a place of industry. As you step closer, the air grows thick with an unsettling energy, a heaviness that feels alive. Are you ready? You ask, your heart racing as you approach the door. Sarah takes a deep breath, nodding. Let's do this. You push open the door, and it creaks ominously, the sound echoing through the empty space. The interior is dark, the only illumination coming from the moonlight streaming through broken windows. Dust motes dance in the beams, suspended in time. Remember what we found in Emily's journal, you murmur, glancing at Sarah. If we confront the past, we can break this curse. Right, she says, her grip tightening on the flashlight. But what if it doesn't work? What if we can't handle whatever's waiting for us here? We'll handle it together, you assure her. No matter what. As you step inside, the air feels electric, charged with unspoken emotions and long-buried secrets. You scan the room, taking in the remnants of the mill, rusted machinery, scattered debris, and remnants of what was once a thriving workplace. Over here. Sarah calls, pointing to a staircase that leads to the upper level. Maybe there's something up there. You nod, leading the way as you climb the creaky steps. Each footfall feels like a challenge, the old wood protesting beneath you. When you reach the top, you find yourself in a large, open room filled with dust-covered equipment. Look! Sarah exclaims, shining her flashlight on a large wooden table in the center. Papers are strewn across it, some charred around the edges, as if they were nearly consumed by flames. You approach the table cautiously, your heart pounding. These must be records from the mill, you say, scanning the documents. They might tell us more about the fire. As you sift through the papers, a familiar name catches your eye, Thomas Whitmore. The entries detail various incidents leading up to the fire, hinting at tension between him and his cousin, Jacob. Listen to this, you say, reading aloud. Thomas threatened to reveal secrets that could destroy the Whitmore family's reputation. Jacob confronted him the night of the fire, leading to a fight that spiraled out of control. That's it. Sarah exclaims, her eyes widening. The confrontation. It must have triggered something in the house, or in the mill. You continue reading, your voice trembling slightly. In the heat of the argument, a lantern was knocked over, igniting the mill. Jacob tried to save Thomas, but it was too late. The flames consumed everything, and the family was forever haunted by the guilt of that night. Guilt, Sarah whispers, a note of understanding dawning in her eyes. They never forgave themselves. It's what kept them trapped. Exactly, you reply, your pulse racing. The house and the mill, they feed off that guilt. It's what keeps the cycle going. Suddenly, a cold draft sweeps through the room, extinguishing your flashlight for a brief moment. You gasp, heart racing. The darkness feels alive, shifting and curling around you like smoke. Did you feel that? Sarah asks, her voice laced with fear. Yes, you reply, trying to steady your breathing. It's like the mill is responding to what we've uncovered. The shadows grow thicker, and you can hear the faint whispers again, rising in intensity. Help us, they call, echoing off the walls, reverberating in your very bones. Let's get out of here. Sarah urges, but you can't shake the feeling that you're close to uncovering the truth. Wait, you insist, gripping her arm. We have to keep looking. This might be our only chance to break the cycle. With renewed determination, you turn your attention back to the papers on the table. You sift through them frantically, searching for anything that might hint at a resolution, something that could give you the power to confront the spirits that haunt this place. And then, you find it. A torn page, barely legible, seems to contain an incantation or a ritual of some sort. You squint to read the faded text. To release the burden of the bloodline, confront the pain of the past. Speak their names and free their souls, or remain forever entwined in the darkness. This is it, you exclaim, adrenaline surging. If we can gather the courage to confront Thomas and Jacob, we might be able to set them free. But how? Sarah asks, her eyes wide with both fear and hope. What if they don't want to be freed? We have to try, you say firmly. They need to know that they're not alone anymore. They need to understand that they can move on. The whispers grow louder, the shadows swirling around you as if in agreement. Help us, they chant, a haunting melody that sends chills down your spine. You take a deep breath, summoning your courage. Okay. We need to find a way to summon their spirits. We'll say their names and speak the truth of what happened. As you and Sarah stand in the dim light, the air thick with tension, you begin to recite the names from the journal. Thomas Whitmore, Jacob Whitmore. The shadows pulse around you, a dark energy that feels both suffocating and powerful. You are not alone, you call out, your voice trembling but resolute. We know what happened. We want to help you find peace. Help us, the whispers echo, intensifying, almost pleading. The room grows colder, and a flicker of light emerges from the corner, illuminating a figure that seems to materialize from the darkness. A young man with hollow eyes, dressed in tattered clothing, stands before you. It's Thomas. Why have you come? He asks, his voice low and mournful. We want to help you, you reply, your heart racing. We know about the fire, about your fight with Jacob. You don't have to be trapped here anymore. Thomas shakes his head, despair etched across his features. I didn't want this. I never wanted the darkness. It was Jacob who pushed me to my end. Jacob is here too, Sarah adds, stepping closer. He feels the weight of your loss, and he's been suffering too. You both deserve to be free. The shadows flicker, and suddenly, another figure appears beside Thomas, Jacob, his face etched with anguish and regret. You shouldn't have come, he says, his voice filled with sorrow. We're bound to this place, forever haunted by our choices. No, you insist, desperation flooding your words. You can break free. Just listen to us. You need to forgive each other. The two figures look at each other, a flicker of recognition passing between them. The whispers swell, a chorus of sorrow that seems to fill the room. We were lost in our anger, Jacob admits, his voice cracking. But the pain has become too much. I can't escape it. You don't have to bear it alone, you urge, your heart racing. You both deserve peace. Let go of the guilt, let go of the past. As you speak, the shadows shift, swirling around you with increasing intensity. The room vibrates with energy, and you feel the weight of the spirits pressing in closer. Help us, the whispers plead once more. Forgive each other, Sarah implores, stepping forward. Let go of the anger that binds you. You can be free. Thomas looks at Jacob, and for the first time, you see a glimmer of understanding in his eyes. I never wanted you to suffer, he says softly. I was consumed by my own pain. And I was too blinded by my anger to see the truth, Jacob replies, his voice filled with regret. I let you down, Thomas. As they share their remorse, the atmosphere begins to shift. The shadows start to recede, and the air grows warmer, lighter. The whispers turn from desperate cries to a harmonious melody, a sound that brings a sense of hope. Let us be free, Thomas says, his voice stronger now. We are ready to let go of the burden. With a shared breath, you and Sarah stand together, channeling your courage. We release you from the darkness that binds you, you say, feeling the energy surge around you. You are free to move on. In that moment, a blinding light fills the room, illuminating the shadows that once loomed so large. The figures of Thomas and Jacob begin to shimmer, their forms becoming translucent as the weight of their guilt lifts. Thank you, Jacob whispers, a smile breaking through his sorrow. Chapter 11, Echoes of Redemption. As the blinding light envelopes the room, you feel a warmth spreading through your body, washing away the chill of despair that has haunted this place for so long. The shadows tremble, the whispers transforming into a soft, melodic hum that resonates within you. Thank you, Jacob repeats, his voice clearer now, full of gratitude. Thank you for setting us free. You watch, breathless, as the figures of Thomas and Jacob begin to dissolve, their faces illuminated by an ethereal glow. It's a sight both beautiful and heart-wrenching, a testament to the burdens they've carried for so long. Wait. Sarah calls, stepping forward. You don't have to go yet. We want to know, what happens now? Thomas turns, his expression softening. We will find peace, he says, his voice like a gentle breeze. The weight of our past will no longer bind us. Thank you for your courage. As they share a final look of understanding, the light intensifies, and in an instant, they vanish, leaving behind a profound silence that feels almost sacred. The shadows recede, and the oppressive atmosphere that once filled the mill lifts, replaced by a serene calm. We did it, you breathe, disbelief flooding your senses. They're free. Tears of relief spring to Sarah's eyes as she turns to you, her voice trembling. I can't believe it worked. The air feels lighter, and the whispers fade into the distance, replaced by the gentle sounds of the night, a breeze rustling the leaves, the distant hoot of an owl. You share a moment of silence, letting the enormity of what just happened sink in. But as the adrenaline begins to fade, a sense of urgency creeps back. What about Adam, you say, the weight of his absence pressing heavily on your heart? We need to find him. If the darkness was tied to Thomas and Jacob, there might still be remnants of it left behind. Right, Sarah nods, wiping away her tears. Let's check the lower levels of the mill. If there's anything left, it might be down there. Together, you make your way to the staircase, your footsteps echoing in the silence. The remnants of the past seem to pulse with energy around you, but now it feels like a gentle heartbeat rather than the oppressive weight of despair. As you descend into the dimly lit ground floor, you notice a door that had previously been obscured by debris. It stands slightly ajar, a thin sliver of darkness beckoning you forward. Do you think we should check that out? Sarah asks, her voice filled with trepidation. You nod, feeling a strange pull toward the door. We have to. It might lead us to Adam. With a firm grip on the doorknob, you push the door open and step inside. The air is stale, the scent of damp wood and decay surrounding you. As you enter, you find yourself in what appears to be a storage room, cluttered with old equipment and remnants of the mill's past. But something feels off. The atmosphere shifts, an unease creeping back into your bones as you scan the room. In the far corner, you spot a small, locked cabinet, and your heart races. Sarah, look, you point. That could be important. You approach the cabinet, your fingers trembling as you inspect it. If it's locked, maybe it holds something we need. Do you have anything to open it? She asks, glancing around. You rummage through the clutter, your heart pounding. I might have an idea. You find an old metal rod among the debris and, after a moment's hesitation, you wedge it into the lock, applying pressure. With a satisfying click, the cabinet creaks open. Inside, you find a collection of old tools, but underneath them lies a small, dust-covered journal. It bears no title, but your instincts tell you it's important. Let's see what's inside, you say, carefully pulling it out and flipping it open. The pages are yellowed, filled with scrawled handwriting that sends a chill down your spine. It's a diary, but not just any diary, it appears to be Adam's. Your breath catches as you scan the pages, your eyes racing over the familiar handwriting. I don't know how to explain what's happening to me. The house whispers to me, and I can't sleep. I feel trapped, like there's something watching me. I have to find a way out. Oh no, Sarah whispers, stepping closer. He's been in here all along. I saw the shadows in the Whitmore house. They told me to help them, to free them from their pain. I don't know what to do. Your heart races as you turn the page, desperate for answers. This isn't good, you murmur. He's been drawn into the darkness, just like Thomas and Jacob were. I can hear them calling to me. I think I'm losing myself. If anyone finds this, please help me. The entry ends abruptly, and you feel a chill wash over you. We have to find him, and fast, you say, urgency flooding your voice. As you and Sarah exchange worried glances, a low rumble reverberates through the mill. Dust falls from the ceiling, and the floor shakes beneath your feet. What was that? Sarah gasps, her eyes wide with fear. I don't know, but it can't be good, you reply, feeling panic claw at your chest. We have to move. You tuck the diary under your arm and lead the way back to the main area of the mill, where the rumbling intensifies. Shadows twist and writhe around you, and the whispers return, louder than ever. Help us, they chant, a cacophony of voices that sends shivers down your spine. Keep moving, you shout, determination propelling you forward. You know that whatever darkness remains is drawn to Adam, and you can't let it claim him too. You push through the doorway leading outside, the cool night air hitting you like a wave. But when you look back, the mill looms ominously behind you, the shadows swirling around it like a storm. Where do we go now? Sarah asks, her voice shaky. Back to the Whitmore house, you say, your resolve hardening. We need to confront whatever is left there. It's the only way we can save Adam. As you begin to retrace your steps, the weight of the night hangs heavy on your shoulders. The battle isn't over yet, the echoes of the past still linger, and the final confrontation awaits. The whispers grow louder, a reminder that time is running out. With each step, you feel the darkness close in, but the determination to save Adam burns brighter than the shadows. You will face whatever horrors lie ahead, because in the end, it's not just about breaking the curse, it's about rescuing a friend from the screams that will never end. Chapter 12, The Reckoning. As you and Sarah make your way back to the Whitmore house, the air thickens with tension. The moon hangs high above, casting an eerie glow on the path ahead. Each step feels heavier, your heart pounding with the knowledge that time is running out for Adam. What if we can't reach him? Sarah's voice quivers, her fear palpable. What if the darkness takes him? We won't let that happen, you reply, your voice steady despite the anxiety churning within. We have to believe we can pull him back. He's strong, and he needs us. The Whitmore house looms ahead, its dark silhouette a haunting reminder of the secrets buried within its walls. You approach the front door, feeling a familiar chill creep down your spine. The whispers are faint now, but still audible, like distant echoes of sorrow lingering in the night. Taking a deep breath, you push the door open. It creaks ominously, as if warning you of the dangers that lie ahead. The house feels different this time, the oppressive atmosphere having lifted slightly since you last visited. Yet, the sense of dread remains, a constant reminder that the darkness is still present. Where do we start? Sarah asks, scanning the dimly lit room. Adam's room, you reply, feeling a pull toward the stairs. If he's anywhere in this house, that's where he'll be. You ascend the stairs, each step echoing in the silence. As you reach the top, the air grows colder, the shadows creeping in closer. The door to Adam's room stands ajar, and you push it open, your heart racing. The room is dim, the curtains drawn tightly, blocking out any hint of light. You flick on the flashlight, the beam slicing through the darkness. As you enter, your breath catches in your throat. The room is a mess, papers strewn everywhere, furniture overturned, and a sense of chaos permeating the air. But it's the figure hunched in the corner that grips your heart with fear. Adam, you call out, rushing toward him. He looks up, his eyes wide and wild, but there's a vacantness to them that sends chills down your spine. Get away, he shouts, his voice trembling with panic. It's too late. You shouldn't have come here. Adam, please, you plead, reaching out to him. We're here to help you. You're not alone. He shakes his head vigorously, backing away. You don't understand. They won't let me go. I can't escape. Who won't let you go? Sarah asks, her voice soothing. We defeated the spirits that haunted this place. You can be free. Adam looks around, his breath quickening. No, they're still here. They want me to join them. I can't fight it. Panic wells up inside you. You're stronger than this, Adam. We believe in you. You can break free of their hold. As you speak, the room begins to shake. The shadows swirl around, dark tendrils creeping closer, feeding off Adam's fear. The whispers grow louder, echoing in your mind like a terrible chorus. Help us, they chant, a haunting melody that fills the air with despair. Don't listen to them, you shout, stepping closer. They can't control you anymore. You have the power to break free. In that moment, something shifts in Adam's expression. You see a flicker of recognition, a glimpse of the friend you know beneath the fear. I'm scared, he admits, his voice trembling. I don't know how to fight them. Together, you say, your voice steady. We fight together. You don't have to face this alone. Sarah joins you, her hand on Adam's shoulder. We're here for you, Adam. You have to trust us. We'll get through this together. The shadows pulse, a dark energy swirling around you, but you refuse to back down. Say their names, Adam, you urge, feeling the power of the words echoing in your mind. Face them. Let them know you won't be controlled anymore. Thomas Jacob, he whispers, fear evident in his eyes. The shadows writhe, a chilling wind howling through the room as the spirits react to the names. You shouldn't have come back, they scream, their voices rising in a furious crescendo. Don't let them intimidate you, you shout, grounding yourself in your own fearlessness. You're more than this darkness. You step forward, taking Adam's hands in yours. Repeat after me, I am not afraid. I will not be controlled. I am not afraid, he stutters, but the shadows grow more aggressive, trying to envelop him. Louder, you insist, squeezing his hands tightly. Say it like you mean it. I am not afraid, he shouts, his voice gaining strength. Good. Now say it again, and add, I am free. I am free. Adam declares, a spark of defiance igniting within him. The shadows shudder, their furious whispers turning into cries of rage. You cannot escape us, they howl, but you can feel the energy shifting. Keep going, Adam. Sarah encourages, her voice unwavering. You're breaking the cycle. With newfound determination, Adam continues, his voice growing stronger. I am not afraid. I am free. As he chants, the shadows begin to writhe, twisting and curling away from him. The air thickens with a powerful energy, and you can see the spirits of Thomas and Jacob begin to form again, but this time, they look different, less angry, more pleading. Help us, let us go, they echo, their voices now softer, filled with a sense of longing. Adam, you need to help them find peace, you say urgently. They're trapped just like you were. Thomas Jacob, Adam breathes, his voice steady now. I'm sorry for what happened. I forgive you. As the words leave his lips, the room erupts in a blinding light. The shadows recoil, twisting away as if burned by Adam's declaration. The spirits begin to shimmer, their forms flickering like candle flames. Thank you, Thomas whispers, his expression one of relief. Thank you for helping us. The shadows dissipate, retreating into the corners of the room, and the light envelopes Adam, drawing him back from the brink. The whispers fade to nothing, replaced by a profound silence. Adam, you call, rushing to his side as the energy shifts once more. Are you okay? He blinks, confusion washing over his face. What just happened? You faced the darkness, Sarah replies, her voice filled with relief. You were so strong, Adam. Tears of gratitude well in your eyes as you pull him into a tight embrace. We were so scared for you. We thought we lost you. As you step back, the room feels different, lighter. The oppressive weight that had lingered in the air has lifted, replaced by a sense of peace. Is it really over? Adam asks, looking around as if expecting the shadows to return. I think so, you say, a smile breaking through. You broke the cycle. You freed Thomas and Jacob, and in doing so, you freed yourself. As the reality of your victory sinks in, you feel a sense of hope blossom within you. The past is no longer a prison, it's a lesson learned, a burden lifted. But as you stand together in the quiet of the Whitmore house, a distant rumble shakes the floor once more. You glance at each other, apprehension creeping back in. Was that? Sarah begins, but you shake your head, sensing something isn't finished yet. No. We need to go. Now. You lead the way out of the room, urgency pushing you forward as the echoes of the past begin to fade. But deep down, you know that the remnants of the darkness could still linger, waiting to reclaim its hold. Together, you descend the stairs, adrenaline coursing through your veins as you head toward the front door. The air grows heavier again, the whispers returning, but this time, they seem distant, an echo of what once was. As you step outside, the cool night air fills your lungs, a welcome contrast to the weight of the house. You look back at the Whitmore estate, a mix of relief and uncertainty washing over you. Is it really over? Adam asks, glancing back as well. For now, you say, determination igniting in your heart. But we need to stay vigilant. The darkness may not be gone for good. As you walk away, you can't shake the feeling that the battle isn't entirely finished. But for tonight, at least, you've broken the cycle. And for now, that's enough. The screams that once echoed through the walls may finally be silenced, but the journey isn't over. You will face whatever lies ahead, ready to protect the light you found together. Chapter 13, Whispers in the Dark. The night air is crisp as you, Sarah, and Adam step away from the Whitmore house. Relief washes over you, but it's tinged with a lingering anxiety. The darkness may have receded for now, but you can't shake the feeling that it's not truly gone. As you walk, the moonlight casts long shadows on the path ahead. The trees rustle in the breeze, their leaves whispering secrets you can't quite hear. You exchange glances with Adam and Sarah, sensing that you're all grappling with the weight of what just happened. Are you sure you're okay? You ask Adam, trying to assess how he's holding up. He nods, but there's a distant look in his eyes. I don't know, he replies, running a hand through his hair. I feel like I'm waking up from a nightmare, but part of me is still in it. We'll figure it out together, Sarah assures him, her voice steady. You're not alone anymore. But as you walk further away from the house, a strange chill settles in your bones. It feels as if the darkness is watching, waiting for a moment of weakness. You glance over your shoulder, half expecting to see shadows creeping behind you, but nothing is there. Just the quiet of the night. Let's head back to my place, Adam suggests, his voice low. We can regroup and talk about everything that happened. Good idea, you agree. I think we need to process this. And we should figure out if there's anything else we can do to keep the darkness at bay. As you walk, the conversation shifts to lighter topics, movies, music, anything to fill the void left by the trauma of the night. But the laughter feels hollow, a thin veil over the fear still lingering in your minds. When you reach Adam's house, you all settle into the living room, the familiarity of his space a comforting balm. But as you sit in silence, the weight of the events from earlier settles heavily on your shoulders. Do you think it's really over? Adam finally asks, breaking the silence. I mean, we freed Thomas and Jacob, but what if something else is still lurking? You take a deep breath, searching for the right words. I think we've made progress, but we can't let our guard down. The darkness was strong, and it feeds on fear. As long as we remain vigilant, we can keep it at bay. Maybe we should investigate the mill and the house again, Sarah suggests. There might be something we missed, some way to make sure it doesn't come back. Yeah, Adam agrees, his eyes brightening at the idea. If we can find a way to cleanse the places of their darkness, it could help. Cleansing, you echo, your mind racing. You mean like a ritual? I've read about things like that. Exactly, Adam says, his enthusiasm palpable. If we can confront the energy left behind, we can make sure it doesn't linger. We can also find a way to help Thomas and Jacob move on completely. Your heart races at the thought. It's worth a try. But we'll need to gather some things, candles, salt, maybe even some sage. Let's do it, Sarah says, determination lighting her eyes. We can make a plan and do this tomorrow night. We'll face whatever is left together. As you begin to discuss the details, the atmosphere in the room shifts. A chill sweeps through, and the lights flicker momentarily. You all freeze, the air thick with tension. Did you feel that? Adam asks, his voice barely above a whisper. Yeah, you reply, your heart pounding. It's like something just shifted. The shadows in the corners of the room seem to deepen, and a sense of dread fills your chest. You can hear faint whispers, a language you can't quite decipher. Panic bubbles within you, but you push it down. Stay focused, you tell yourself. We can handle this. Suddenly, the lights go out completely, plunging you into darkness. Your heart races as you fumble for your flashlight, your hands trembling. Adam, can you get the candles? Sarah calls out, her voice steady despite the fear lacing it. Yeah, hold on, he replies, his voice echoing in the dark. As he moves, you flick on your flashlight, illuminating the room. The beam catches a movement in the corner, something dark and swirling, like smoke rising from the floor. The whispers grow louder, their tone shifting from sorrow to rage. Not again, you shout, gripping the flashlight tightly. We just freed you. Help us, the voices chant, intertwining with a low growl that reverberates through your bones. Adam, hurry. Sarah urges, her voice strained. He returns, candles in hand, and you quickly light them, the soft glow illuminating the room. But the darkness seems to recoil from the light, swirling angrily in the corners as if fighting against it. Stay together, you command, positioning the candles in a circle on the floor. We need to create a barrier. As you set up the candles, the whispers turn into furious shouts, the shadows growing darker and more aggressive. You cannot escape, they scream, echoing through the room like a tempest. Adam, we need to hold hands, you shout, urgency pouring into your words. We can strengthen the barrier together. You quickly gather around the circle, gripping each other's hands tightly. The flickering candlelight casts dancing shadows on the walls, but the shadows in the corners seem to multiply, the darkness pressing in closer. Close your eyes, you instruct. Focus on the light. We're stronger together. As you close your eyes, you can feel the energy swirling around you, a chaotic force fighting against the light you've created. The whispers blend into a single roar, echoing your fears, your doubts. Help us, they chant, but this time, it feels more like a threat. Stay strong, you whisper, pushing your fear aside. We can do this. You concentrate, feeling the warmth of your friends beside you, the strength of your connection growing. We're not afraid, you declare, opening your eyes to look at the flickering candles. The shadows seem to hesitate, wavering in the light. You cannot stop us, they roar, but the intensity of their anger is waning. Together. Adam shouts, squeezing your hands tightly. We are stronger than you. Chapter 14, Shadows of the Past. The dawn breaks, casting a soft glow over the neighborhood. You, Sarah, and Adam gather in the kitchen, the remnants of last night's chaos still hanging in the air. The smell of coffee fills the room, providing a comforting backdrop as you prepare for the day ahead. Do you think it'll be safe to go back to the mill and the Whitmore house? Adam asks, pouring himself a cup of coffee. His hands shake slightly, a residual effect of the fear and adrenaline from the night before. We have to, you reply, feeling a mix of determination and anxiety. If there's any darkness left, we need to cleanse it completely. We can't leave anything to chance. Sarah nods, her expression serious. We've already faced so much, we can't turn back now. We have to finish what we started. The thought of returning to the sites of your recent confrontations sends a shiver down your spine, but you push the fear aside. You gather your supplies, candles, salt, sage, and a few other items you've read about in your research. Each item feels like a lifeline, a connection to the protection you hope to invoke. As you load the supplies into a backpack, a heavy silence settles over the room. The weight of the unknown presses on you, and you can't shake the feeling that something is still lurking in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike. Once you're packed, you head outside. The morning sun bathes everything in a warm light, but the peace feels fragile, like glass that could shatter at any moment. Let's check the mill first, you suggest, leading the way down the path. If there's anything left, it's likely there. The short walk feels longer than usual, each step echoing with the memories of your previous encounters. The mill looms in the distance, its silhouette dark against the brightening sky, and as you approach, a sense of foreboding settles over you. Stay close, you remind Sarah and Adam, your voice low but firm. We don't know what we're walking into. The door creaks open as you step inside, the familiar scent of damp wood and mildew filling your nostrils. The air feels charged, as if the very walls are holding their breath, waiting for something to happen. Let's head to the lower levels first, you suggest, your voice barely above a whisper. The memory of the last confrontation hangs heavy in your mind. As you descend the staircase, the shadows seem to shift and twist in the corners, but you refuse to let fear take hold. You switch on your flashlight, the beam cutting through the darkness, illuminating the path ahead. The basement is just as you left it, cluttered with debris, remnants of the past scattered everywhere. The atmosphere feels thick, the air heavy with unspoken words and unresolved tensions. Where do we start? Adam asks, looking around nervously. Let's set up the cleansing space right here, you say, motioning to an open area. We can create a barrier and then use the sage to cleanse the space. As you begin to arrange the candles in a circle, Sarah lights them one by one, the flickering flames casting long shadows on the walls. You pour salt around the circle, creating a protective barrier. Are you ready? You ask, looking at your friends. They both nod, determination etched on their faces. You take a deep breath and grab the sage, lighting it until it produces a thin trail of smoke. This is for purification, you say, holding it high. We call upon the energies of light to cleanse this space of any darkness. You start to move around the circle, waving the sage in a rhythmic motion. We release any spirit still tied to this place. You are free to move on to the light. As the smoke swirls, the shadows in the room seem to quiver, an uneasy energy filling the air. The whispers return, faint at first but growing louder, echoing your words. Help us, they plead, their tone filled with desperation. Keep going, Adam encourages, his eyes wide as he grips your shoulder. We can do this. You continue to chant, your voice rising above the cacophony of whispers. We cleanse this space. You are not welcome here. Suddenly, the temperature drops, and the shadows swell in response, dark tendrils reaching out as if trying to reclaim their territory. You cannot banish us, they roar, their voices intertwining in a haunting chorus. Stay strong. Sarah calls out, stepping closer to the circle. We're not afraid of you. With each word, the shadows writhe, their fury palpable. You push through the fear, focusing on the light, on the bond you share with your friends. We release you, you shout, desperation fueling your words. You are free. The air crackles with energy as the shadows surge forward, the darkness clawing at the edges of your protective circle. You feel a rush of wind, like a storm brewing in the confined space. Then, a flash of light bursts forth from the center of your circle, illuminating the room and pushing back against the darkness. You shield your eyes, and for a moment, everything is chaos, flashes of light and dark swirling together. Hold the circle, you shout, gripping Adam's hand tightly. Don't let go. The light intensifies, pushing the shadows back until they begin to dissolve into wisps of smoke, evaporating like morning fog. The whispers shift from threatening to a sorrowful lament. Thank you, they echo, as if the very walls are whispering their gratitude. Keep going. Sarah urges, her voice rising above the din, we're almost there. You push through the chaos, chanting louder. You are free. You are no longer bound to this place. The shadows retreat further, their presence fading into the corners of the room. You can feel the energy shifting, the air becoming lighter, the oppressive weight lifting. Finally, the last of the darkness dissipates, and the room falls silent. You stand in the center of the circle, panting, your heart racing. The candles flicker gently, casting a warm glow around you. We did it, Adam breathes, looking around in disbelief. But before you can respond, a sudden noise pierces the silence, a loud crash from above. The floor shakes beneath your feet, and dust falls from the ceiling. What was that? Sarah gasps, her eyes wide with fear. You exchange worried glances, dread pooling in your stomach. It came from the main floor, you say, instinctively moving toward the staircase. As you ascend, the atmosphere feels different, charged with a tension that makes your skin crawl. You reach the main area of the mill, and the sight that greets you sends a chill down your spine. The front door stands wide open, swinging on its hinges, and the sunlight streaming in feels strangely distorted, like a warning. Shadows dance in the corners, moving in ways that make you question your sanity. Do you see that? Adam whispers, pointing to the doorway. Before you can respond, a figure steps into the threshold, shrouded in darkness. Your heart races as you realize it's not just any figure, it's a silhouette you recognize all too well. Thomas, you exclaim, but there's something different about him, something dark and twisted in his expression. He steps forward, and the shadows cling to him like a second skin. You shouldn't have come back, he says, his voice echoing with a chilling resonance. Thomas, we set you free, you shout, confusion flooding your mind. You don't have to be here. He laughs, a sound that sends shivers down your spine. Did you really think you could erase the past? I'm not free. None of us are free. You take a step back, fear gripping your heart. What do you mean? The darkness is part of us now, he says, his eyes glinting with an unsettling intensity. You've unleashed something you cannot control. Before you can react, the shadows behind him surge forward, swirling around the room with a newfound ferocity. Stay together, you shout, grabbing Adam and Sarah's hands as you form a protective circle once more. We can't let it take us. The shadows writhe, their power intensified by Thomas's presence. Help us, the whispers echo again, but this time they carry an edge of malice, threatening to engulf you. Fight it. Sarah cries, her voice breaking through the chaos. We're stronger together. The darkness pulses, feeding off your fear, but you refuse to give in. We will not be controlled, you shout, channeling your energy into the protective circle. As the shadows close in, you realize this battle is far from over. The echoes of the past are rising again, and with Thomas at the helm, the darkness is more determined than ever to reclaim what it lost. Hold on tight, you scream, and as the shadows crash against the barrier, you brace yourself for the fight of your lives. The energy in the room shifts, a sudden gust of wind blowing through the space, extinguishing a couple of candles. Panic surges within you, but you refuse to let it break your focus. Keep going. Sarah encourages, her voice unwavering. We're close. Help us, let us go, you call out, channeling all your strength into the words. You are free. The shadows writhe, the dark forms coiling around you as if trying to trap you once more. But the flickering light pushes back, illuminating the room with a fierce glow. Help us, the whispers fade, the anger dissipating, replaced by a tone of longing. Adam, now, you shout, your heart racing as you feel the power building between you. Say their names again. Thomas. Jacob. Adam cries, his voice strong and clear. You are free. We release you. As the words leave his lips, the shadows recoil violently, the dark energy swirling away from the candles as if they're being pulled by an unseen force. The room is flooded with light, and you can feel the oppressive weight lifting, the darkness dissolving into nothingness. Thank you, a voice whispers, barely audible but filled with warmth. You look around, breathless, as the shadows disappear completely, leaving only the flickering candles and the soft glow of the room. As the final echoes of the darkness fade away, you collapse into a chair, heart racing. Is it over? Sarah asks, looking around as if expecting the shadows to return. I think so, you reply, a mix of disbelief and relief washing over you. We did it again. Adam exhales deeply, the tension visibly leaving his body. I didn't think we'd make it through that one. You exchange glances, the weight of what just happened settling in. I think we need to prepare for tomorrow, you say, your voice steady. We've faced the darkness tonight, but we need to make sure it doesn't come back. There's still work to do. As you blow out the candles, you can't shake the feeling that the echoes of the past may still linger in the shadows. But for now, you've reclaimed a small piece of light, and you're determined to keep it safe. The darkness may have retreated, but you know that it's only a matter of time before it seeks to reclaim what it lost. And together, you will be ready to face it again. Chapter 15, The Reckoning. The shadows swirl violently around you, crashing against the protective barrier formed by your joined hands. The flickering candles struggle against the dark, their light flickering wildly, but you refuse to back down. Thomas, you shout, desperation surging within you. You don't have to do this. We can help you. He steps closer, the darkness rippling around him like a living entity. Help, he scoffs, a sinister smile playing on his lips. You think you can save anyone? You opened the door to the past, and now it's time to pay the price. The whispers grow louder, a chaotic cacophony of voices echoing through the room. Join us, they chant, each syllable filled with a haunting resonance that sends chills down your spine. Fight it, Thomas. Adam urges, stepping forward as if to break the circle. We know you're still in there. With that, the shadows lunge toward you, tendrils reaching out as if to drag you into their depths. Panic rises, but you tighten your grip on Adam and Sarah's hands, your determination solidifying into a shield of light. Together, you shout, summoning every ounce of courage within you. We can push it back. We are stronger than this darkness. The air crackles with energy as you focus on the light of the candles, drawing strength from their glow. We release you, you chant, your voice rising above the chaos. You are free. The shadows hesitate, their movement faltering as if unsure how to respond. You can feel the energy shifting, the darkness responding to your words. Thomas, you can break free. Sarah calls, her voice piercing through the roar of the shadows. We believe in you. You are not just a vessel for this darkness. The shadows swirl around Thomas, but for a moment, his expression flickers, a brief glimpse of the boy you once knew. I can't, he stammers, the darkness writhing in agitation around him. I don't know how. Fight it, you shout, your voice fierce and unwavering. You have the power. You faced the darkness before, and you can do it again. In that moment, the shadows surge forward, but you stand firm, channeling your fear into strength. You will not take him, you declare, the light of the candles blazing brighter. We will not let you. The shadows seem to recoil, but Thomas's eyes flicker with uncertainty, the conflict within him palpable. I'm scared, he admits, his voice trembling. What if I can't break free? You can. Adam urges, stepping closer despite the swirling darkness. You are not alone. We're here for you. The whispers morph into an angry roar, the shadows lunging again, but this time, the light begins to push back. Help us, they scream, their voices laced with fury. Say their names, you shout, remembering the power of acknowledgement. Face them. Give them the release they crave. Thomas. Jacob. Sarah calls, her voice steady. You are free. You don't have to be trapped in this darkness anymore. The shadows writhe violently, but Thomas clenches his fists, and for a moment, the darkness hesitates. I won't let you control me, he cries, a newfound resolve shining in his eyes. Yes. Yes, you shout, feeling the energy shift once more. You have the power. Let it go. With a deep breath, Thomas stands taller, the shadows around him flickering. I won't be afraid, he declares, his voice ringing out with determination. As he speaks, the darkness begins to peel away, unraveling like a frayed thread. The whispers turn into cries of anger, their power waning against the light. Keep going, you urge, your heart racing with hope. You're breaking free. The shadows churn violently, but Thomas raises his arms, pushing against the darkness. You will not take me, he shouts, his voice gaining strength. I am free. I release you. The shadows scream in agony, their forms twisting and collapsing under the force of his declaration. You cannot escape, they howl, but the strength of Thomas's resolve is overwhelming. You can feel the air crackling with energy, the very essence of light pushing back against the dark. As the shadows falter, the flickering candles blaze brightly, illuminating the room in a warm glow. Now, let them go, you command, your voice fierce and clear. Release them to the light. Thomas. Jacob. Adam echoes, his voice ringing out with confidence. You are free. The shadows convulse, their forms shimmering and fading, and with a final scream, they dissolve into a cloud of smoke, leaving only a soft breeze in their wake. For a moment, silence envelopes the room, the echoes of the past finally at rest. You stand in a circle, breathless, your heart pounding in your chest. Is it over? Sarah whispers, looking around in disbelief. Thomas blinks, confusion and relief flooding his features. I think it is, he breathes, the shadows receding completely. As the last remnants of darkness evaporate, a warm light fills the space, washing over you like a gentle wave. You feel a sense of peace settle in your chest, the weight of the darkness lifting. Thank you, Thomas murmurs, tears welling in his eyes. I didn't think I could escape it. You did, you say, stepping forward to embrace him. You're free now, and you're not alone anymore. As you pull back, the warmth of the moment is overshadowed by a lingering sense of unease. What if there's still something left, you ask, glancing around. What if it's not truly over? We'll stay vigilant, Adam replies, his voice steady. We've faced the darkness together before, and we can do it again if we need to. As you gather your things, the atmosphere in the mill feels lighter, but the uncertainty remains. The shadows may have been defeated for now, but you know the darkness is a persistent foe. Let's head back to my place, Adam suggests. We can talk about what we've learned and figure out our next steps. As you exit the mill, the sun hangs high in the sky, illuminating the world around you. But even in the light, you can still feel the faint echo of the darkness lingering just beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to rise again. You take a deep breath, determination flooding your veins. Together, you'll face whatever comes next. Together, you'll ensure that the screams that once echoed through the shadows will never return. Chapter 16, Echoes of the Past. You step into the sunlight, but it feels dimmer somehow, like a thick fog has settled over the day. The warmth on your skin does little to ease the chill that has burrowed deep in your bones. Adam closes the basement door behind you, sealing away whatever darkness you just confronted, but the weight of it lingers in the air. What was that? Thomas asks, his voice trembling. I thought we'd banished it for good. You shake your head, trying to dispel the anxiety coiling in your stomach. Maybe it was a remnant. A spirit that hadn't found peace. But it felt different this time, didn't it? Yeah, Sarah agrees, her brows knitting together. It was more aggressive. Like it knew us, Adam adds, crossing his arms defensively. Like it was waiting for us. You take a deep breath, trying to steady yourself. Let's go inside and regroup. We need a plan. Once inside, you all gather around the dining table, the remnants of your earlier research still scattered across its surface. The sunlight streams through the windows, but even the bright rays seem unable to penetrate the sense of dread that has settled over you. Okay, you say, forcing your voice to remain steady. We need to figure out why this darkness is still lingering. The Whitmore family, they must have left behind something important. As you sift through the books, you come across an old newspaper clipping. The headline reads, "Tragedy strikes Whitmore Mill, family disappears without a trace." Look at this, you say, passing it around. The grainy black and white photo shows the mill, now a ghostly silhouette against the evening sky. What if they're still here? Sarah suggests, her voice a whisper. What if they never left? That would explain the shadows, Thomas says, frowning. They could be trapped in the same cycle of pain and anger. Adam flips through the book you had pulled the article from. There's something here about rituals about appeasing the spirits of the lost. Like what, you ask, leaning closer. Offerings, memorials, acknowledging their existence, he replies. If we want to help them find peace, we need to do something more. You look around at your friends, feeling a spark of determination igniting within you. Then we need to go back to the mill. We need to honor the Whitmore family and give them a chance to be free. Thomas glances at you, uncertainty written all over his face. But what if we encounter that shadow again? What if it's stronger? It's a risk we have to take, you say firmly. We can't let fear stop us. We have to face this together. After a moment of hesitation, Thomas nods. You're right. We need to do this. For them and for us. You gather the supplies you'll need, candles, flowers, and some items you believe may have significance. As you prepare to leave, the atmosphere feels charged with energy, an unspoken understanding between you and your friends. When you arrive at the mill, the once familiar sight feels even more ominous. The wooden door creaks open, revealing the shadowy interior, and you can't help but feel a chill run down your spine. Stay close, you remind everyone as you enter, the darkness wrapping around you like a thick fog. You set up in the center of the mill, placing the candles in a circle and arranging the flowers in a small bouquet at the center. Let's call out to them, Adam suggests, his voice steady but low. Let them know we're here. You take a deep breath and nod. Together. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Whitmore family. We honor your memory. We are here to help you find peace. Your voices echo through the empty mill, reverberating against the walls. You watch as the shadows begin to shift, moving in response to your call. The air grows heavy, charged with anticipation. Can you feel that? Sarah whispers, her eyes wide with fear. Yes, you reply, clenching your fists. It's like they're responding. Suddenly, the shadows swirl violently around you, coalescing into the dark figure you encountered earlier. Its glowing eyes pierce through the dimness, and you can almost hear the anguish in its voice as it screams, "You cannot save us." Stop, you shout, stepping forward. We are not here to harm you. We want to help you. Help, the figure scoffs, its voice layered with bitterness. You think you can erase centuries of pain? You cannot understand our suffering. The shadows lash out, trying to engulf you, but you stand your ground, reaching deep within yourself for the light you felt before. You are not alone. We remember you. We honor your pain. Honor, it hisses, the darkness swirling in fury. You think flowers and candles can change the past. We believe you deserve peace, you shout, your voice rising above the chaos. Let us help you find it. Let us remember. As the words leave your lips, the light from the candles begins to glow brighter, illuminating the mill's interior. The shadows pause, hesitating, as if your words have struck a chord deep within them. Say their names. Adam calls out, his voice unwavering. Whitmore family. You are seen. You are not forgotten. Jacob. Thomas. Eleanor. Sarah adds, her voice ringing with conviction. We are here for you. The shadows tremble, and the figure wavers, flickering like a candle in a strong wind. You cannot comprehend the depths of our despair, it whispers, but there's a hint of vulnerability in its tone. Then show us, you plead. Let us understand. We will bear witness to your pain. In that moment, the air crackles with energy as the shadows draw closer. You can feel the weight of their history pressing against you, their sorrow almost tangible. The figure's eyes flash with a mix of anger and desperation, the darkness wavering around it. With renewed determination, you raise your arms, channeling the light of the candles. We acknowledge your suffering. We honor your memory. You do not have to be trapped any longer. The shadows pulse violently, swirling and contorting, and you can feel the raw energy in the air. Release us, the figure moans, its voice breaking. Release us from this torment. Yes, you shout, feeling the power of your words resonate. Let go of the pain. Embrace the light. As you speak, the shadows begin to dissolve, unraveling like threads in the wind. The glowing figure wavers, flickering between darkness and light, as it struggles to break free from the chains of its past. Together, you urge your friends, locking hands once more. We can do this. Whitmore family, you are free. Adam cries, his voice rising above the din, your story does not end in suffering. With one final push, the light from the candles blazes brighter than ever, illuminating the entire mill in a golden glow. The shadows scream in agony, but the figure transforms, becoming a cascade of shimmering light that envelopes the space. As the light envelopes you, you feel a sense of peace washing over you. The anguished cries of the past begin to fade, replaced by a soft whisper that resonates deep within your heart, thank you. In an instant, the light bursts forth, filling every corner of the mill, before exploding outward into the night sky. The darkness is banished, leaving behind a serene silence that feels like a gentle embrace. You stand in the center of the mill, breathless and overwhelmed, the remnants of the shadow dissolving into nothingness. It's over, Thomas breathes, disbelief etched across his face. Is it? Sarah asks, looking around, her eyes wide with wonder. You take a deep breath, feeling the weight lift from your shoulders. I think it is. We set them free. As you gather your belongings, a newfound sense of hope fills the space. The mill, once a place of despair, now feels like a sanctuary. But as you step outside, the night air feels different. A gentle breeze brushes against your skin, but beneath it lies an echo, a reminder that while you may have won this battle, the fight against darkness is an ongoing journey. Whatever happens next, you say, glancing at your friends, we'll face it together. Together, you leave the mill, the past behind you, but the future still uncertain. The stars twinkle above, and for the first time in what feels like forever, you feel a glimmer of hope that the screams that once echoed in your mind may finally be at rest. Chapter 17, The Fractured Silence. The air outside feels lighter, but a nagging tension still coils in your stomach as you and your friends make your way back down the dirt path leading away from the mill. The whispers of the past seem to hang in the air, a reminder of the battle you just fought. Do you think they're really gone? Sarah asks, glancing back at the mill, now just a dark silhouette against the night sky. I hope so, Thomas replies, shoving his hands into his pockets. But I can't shake the feeling that we haven't seen the last of it. You nod, sharing his apprehension. We need to stay vigilant. If the darkness can manifest again, we have to be ready. As you approach Adam's house, a low rumble of thunder echoes in the distance. Dark clouds gather on the horizon, a stark contrast to the peace you just fought to establish. Inside, the atmosphere is heavy with unspoken thoughts. You set your things down, and Adam turns to you, his expression grave. "Okay, so we think we helped the Whitmore family," he says, pacing slightly. "But if there's still something out there, we need to understand what it is. Maybe we can dig deeper into the town's history," you suggest, pulling out your phone. There might be more records or accounts of other strange occurrences. As you type, the sound of raindrops begins to patter against the windows, growing louder with each passing second. The rhythmic drumming is almost soothing, but your heart quickens as a loud crack of thunder reverberates through the house. Suddenly, the lights flicker, and you exchange nervous glances. "Did that feel odd?" Sarah asks, her voice barely above a whisper. Before anyone can answer, a loud crash echoes from the basement. The sound reverberates through the walls, sending a shiver down your spine. "What was that?" Thomas asks, eyes wide with fear. "Stay here," you say, trying to sound braver than you feel. "I'll check it out." As you step toward the basement door, your heart races. The darkness of the basement looms ahead, swallowing the light from the hallway. You hesitate for a moment, glancing back at your friends, who watch with wide eyes. "Be careful," Adam urges, his voice a mix of concern and fear. You take a deep breath, steeling yourself, and open the basement door. The stairs creak under your weight as you descend into the gloom. The air grows colder, sending chills down your spine. At the bottom of the stairs, you flick the light switch, but the bulb flickers and then dies, plunging you into near darkness. You pull out your phone and use its flashlight, casting a beam into the murky shadows. "Hello," you call, your voice echoing off the walls. "Is anyone down here?" Silence responds. The air feels thick, almost oppressive, as you move deeper into the basement. You scan the room, heart pounding as you spot a pile of boxes toppled over in the corner. That's when you see it, a shadow flickering in the farthest corner, barely visible in the dim light. It shifts and shudders, seeming to pulse with a life of its own. "No, not again," you murmur, stepping back instinctively. "Help us," a voice echoes from the darkness, the words chilling you to your core. "Who are you?" you call out, trying to keep your voice steady. "What do you want?" The shadow writhes, and for a moment, you think you can make out faces within it, haunted, anguished. The air crackles with a familiar energy, and a sense of dread washes over you. You cannot escape, the voice whispers, growing louder and more desperate. You open the door, and now we are bound to you. Panic surges within you as you turn to run back up the stairs, but the shadows lunge forward, closing in around you. You feel the icy grip of fear tightening, threatening to consume you. "No! Get away," you shout, raising your phone as if it can ward off the darkness. In that moment, you hear the footsteps of your friends approaching from above. "Are you okay?" Adam calls out, his voice laced with urgency. "Yes. But there's something down here," you shout back, trying to keep your fear in check. Just then, the shadows surge forward, swirling like a tempest. "Help us," they cry in a chorus of anguish, the sound echoing in your mind. With a surge of determination, you take a deep breath and shout, "You are not alone. We will help you." Your friends appear at the top of the stairs, their faces pale with fear. "What's happening?" Thomas asks, his eyes darting between you and the darkness. "I don't know, but we need to work together," you respond, feeling the energy pulse through you. "We have to confront this." Together, Adam echoes, stepping into the basement with Sarah and Thomas. The shadows shift, swirling in a violent dance around you. You take your friends' hands, forming a circle. "Let's call out to them," you say, trying to push past the fear. "We have to show them they're not trapped anymore." All of us, Sarah adds, her voice strong. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Whitmore family. You are seen. You are not forgotten, you chant, your voices blending together in a powerful harmony. As you speak, the shadows hesitate, the swirling mass slowing down, and for a moment, you see flashes of faces within the darkness, faces of pain, longing, and fear. Help us, release us, they whisper, the collective sorrow echoing around you. Say their names. Thomas urges, gripping your hands tighter. We remember you. Jacob. Eleanor. Thomas, you shout, your voice fierce and unwavering. You are free. You do not have to suffer any longer. The shadows pulse violently, the figures within them writhing as they struggle against their bonds. The air thickens with energy, and you can feel the weight of their anguish pressing down on you. Let go of your pain. Adam shouts, his voice ringing with authority. You are not alone in this. As the shadows begin to convulse, you push harder against the darkness. We acknowledge your suffering. We honor your memory, you cry, your heart racing. In that moment, the shadows scream, a cacophony of voices merging into a deafening roar. You cannot save us. We are bound to this place. Yes, we can, you shout back, feeling the power of your words surge within you. Together, we will help you find peace. The shadows begin to break apart, their forms dissolving like mist in the wind. The light from your phones grows brighter, illuminating the basement as the air crackles with energy. Let them go, you command, your voice fierce and unwavering. You are free. Embrace the light. With one final surge of energy, the shadows collapse inward, and a brilliant light erupts from the center of the swirling darkness. You feel a rush of warmth enveloping you, the cries of the past slowly fading into a peaceful silence. As the light fades, you stand in the center of the basement, breathing heavily. The oppressive weight that had settled around you has lifted, leaving behind a serene stillness. Is it over? Thomas breathes, disbelief etched across his face. I think so, you reply, glancing around at your friends, relief washing over you. We did it. We set them free. But as you start to head back upstairs, a lingering feeling gnaws at you. The shadows may have been banished for now, but the storm brewing outside feels ominous, a reminder that darkness can return in many forms. You exit the basement, your heart still racing, but as you step into the living room, the storm outside rages on. Thunder rumbles, lightning flashes, and the power flickers, casting the room into momentary darkness. What now? Sarah asks, her voice shaky as the lights dim again. We stay together, you say, trying to sound braver than you feel. We'll face whatever comes next. Together. And as the thunder crashes once more, you can't shake the feeling that the echoes of the past might not be done with you yet. Chapter 18, Shadows of Doubt. The storm outside rages on, the wind howling like a restless spirit, rattling the windows of Adam's house. You can feel the tension thickening in the air, an unsettling reminder that although you've faced the darkness, its remnants linger like an unwelcome guest. We need to figure out what's really going on, you say, glancing at your friends. If the shadows return that quickly, there's something deeper we haven't uncovered. Maybe there are more stories about the Whitmores, Sarah suggests, her brow furrowed with concern. What if their pain isn't the only thing that's haunting us? Exactly, Thomas replies, pacing the room. We've only scratched the surface of this. The lights flicker again, and you shiver, instinctively stepping closer to your friends. We should look for more historical accounts. There might be something hidden in the town's archives or in old records. Adam nods, pulling out his laptop. I can look for anything related to the mill, the Whitmore family, or any other unusual events. There might be a connection we're missing. As he begins typing, the thunder crashes outside, sending a jolt through your body. You take a deep breath, trying to calm your racing heart. Let's split up and gather as much information as we can. We need to be ready for anything. Where should we start? Sarah asks, glancing at you. Let's check the library first. They might have old newspapers or documents that can give us more insight, you suggest. Thomas, you can help me with that. Adam, see if you can find anything online that we might have missed. As you head out into the storm, the rain pelts against the pavement, each drop feeling like a reminder of the shadows you faced. You and Thomas huddle under an umbrella, navigating through the dark streets, the flickering streetlights casting eerie shadows around you. I can't shake the feeling that we're being watched, Thomas admits, glancing around nervously. You feel a chill creep up your spine, the shadows of the past still lurking in your mind. Just stay close. We'll figure this out. When you reach the library, the heavy wooden doors creak open, revealing rows of dusty bookshelves that seem to stretch into the shadows. The smell of old paper fills the air, an oddly comforting scent amidst the chaos outside. You approach the front desk, where an elderly librarian peers at you over her glasses. Can I help you? She asks, her voice soft yet firm. We're looking for information on the Whitmore family, particularly anything related to the mill, you reply. Ah, the Whitmores, she murmurs, her gaze drifting as if lost in thought. Their story is a tragic one. There are some archives in the back. You might find what you're looking for there. Thank you, you say, leading Thomas toward the back of the library. As you sift through the dusty archives, you come across a folder labeled Whitmore Family. Inside, you find a collection of newspaper clippings, old photographs, and handwritten letters. This is it, you say, pulling out the papers and spreading them across the table. You begin reading aloud, piecing together the fragments of their story. The Whitmore family ran the mill for generations. Tragedy struck in 1923 when 3 of the children went missing, and shortly after, the parents disappeared as well, you read, feeling a knot tighten in your stomach. What happened to them? Thomas asks, his voice barely above a whisper. The townsfolk believed the mill was cursed. Rumors spread about strange happenings, disappearances, screams in the night, and shadows that seemed to move on their own, you continue. It's as if the mill became a portal to something dark. Maybe that darkness never left, Thomas muses, glancing at the photographs. Look at this. He points to a faded image of the Whitmore family, their faces solemn, shadows lurking behind them in the photograph. Do you see that? You ask, leaning in closer. It's like there's something watching them. Yeah, Thomas says, his voice trembling. What if that's what we're dealing with? A lingering presence that won't let go? Suddenly, a loud crash echoes from outside, startling you both. You exchange worried glances as the lights flicker ominously. Let's hurry and find more, you urge, scanning the papers quickly. You come across a letter, yellowed with age, and begin to read. To whom it may concern. The shadows have taken our children. We cannot escape their grasp. Please, if you find this, do not enter the mill. The darkness is hungry. You feel a cold shiver run down your spine as the letter drops from your hands, fluttering to the floor. Did you hear that? Thomas whispers, his eyes wide. You nod, your heart pounding. We need to get back to Adam and Sarah. Now. You both race back through the storm, the rain drenching you, but you hardly notice. The weight of the shadows hangs heavy in your mind. When you finally reach Adam's house, the door swings open before you can knock. Sarah stands there, panic etched on her face. You have to come in. Something's happening. What do you mean? You ask, stepping inside. The storm isn't just a storm, Sarah explains, her voice trembling. I felt it. It's like the air is charged with energy. And then I heard whispers coming from the basement. Your heart sinks. Whispers? Yeah, like they're calling out for help, she says, her eyes wide with fear. We have to do something. Where's Adam? You ask, scanning the room. He's in the basement. He said he wanted to check something out after you guys left, she replies. Before you can respond, a loud crash echoes from the basement, sending a jolt of terror through you. Adam, you shout, rushing toward the basement door. The shadows begin to shift around you, swirling in the corners of your vision, but you refuse to back down. You grab the handle, but it feels cold and foreign, like the darkness is trying to hold you back. Stay together, you call out to Sarah and Thomas. We can't let the shadows separate us. As you swing the door open, a rush of icy air washes over you, and you step into the basement, the darkness enveloping you once more. The power flickers again, plunging you into momentary blackness, and you hear Adam's voice, strained and desperate. Help! It's too late. Adam, you scream, your heart racing. You fumble for your phone, illuminating the basement with a shaky beam of light. As the light flickers on, you see him standing in the center of the room, surrounded by swirling shadows that pulse with a malevolent energy. Get back, he shouts, panic in his eyes. I can't hold it back. The shadows writhe and lash out, and you feel the energy shift, heavy with the weight of the past. You step forward, locking hands with Thomas and Sarah, determination flooding through you. We're here, Adam. We'll face this together, you shout, your voice steady despite the fear coursing through you. The shadows lunge toward you, but you hold your ground, channeling the light from your phone and your resolve. Whitmore family. You are seen. You are not alone. With those words, the shadows hesitate, swirling in confusion. You can feel the echoes of their pain pulsing through the room. Say their names. Thomas urges, his grip tightening. We can help you. Jacob. Eleanor. Thomas, you call, your heart pounding. You don't have to be trapped any longer. As you call out, the shadows begin to tremble, their forms wavering as if they're struggling against their bonds. The energy in the room crackles, a storm of emotion surging all around you. Help us, release us, they whisper, their voices merging into a haunting chorus. You step forward, your heart racing. We honor your suffering. You are free. Embrace the light. With a sudden roar, the shadows surge forward, the energy in the room intensifying. The air crackles with a tension that feels almost alive, and you can feel it pushing against you, trying to pull you apart. Don't give in. Adam shouts, his voice echoing through the chaos. We are stronger than this. The shadows howl in anger, but you stand your ground. You will not take us, you shout, channeling every ounce of courage you possess. Together, you and your friends hold the line, standing firm against the tide of darkness that threatens to engulf you all. The battle has only just begun, and with each passing moment, the echoes of the past scream louder, demanding to be heard. But you know deep within your heart that you won't back down. Not now. Not ever. Chapter 19, The Descent. The shadows swirl around you, their malevolent energy pulsating like a heartbeat. You and your friends stand firm, hands linked together, drawing strength from one another. The air is electric with tension, and you can feel the pull of the darkness, trying to siphon away your resolve. Stay focused, you shout, trying to drown out the rising cacophony of anguished cries. We're not afraid of you. With every word, you feel the shadows lurch, recoiling as if your courage burns them. But their fury quickly reignites, and they lash out with a deafening roar. You cannot escape. You opened the door to us. You glance at Adam, whose eyes are wide with fear and determination. We need to acknowledge their pain. It's the only way we can truly help them, he cries, his voice rising above the chaos. Let's remember them. Let's honor their names, you shout back, channeling every ounce of strength you possess. Jacob. Eleanor. Thomas. You are seen. You are loved. The shadows tremble, their forms flickering as if uncertain how to respond. You think you can save us, they wail, the sound echoing through the basement like a death knell. We are bound to this darkness. You take a deep breath, refusing to back down. You are not bound. You can break free. Embrace the light with us. The shadows surge forward, the air thickening with a desperate, clamoring energy. You can feel their despair washing over you like a tidal wave, threatening to drown you in hopelessness. Hold on. Thomas yells, his grip tightening around yours. We have to push through this. The energy shifts, and for a moment, the room is filled with blinding light. You squint against the brilliance, instinctively pulling your friends closer. Don't let go, you urge, feeling the heat of the light growing stronger. As the light begins to ebb, you catch glimpses of the faces within the shadows, anguished, trapped, pleading for release. We can help you, you shout again, your heart racing. Let us in. In response, the shadows twist violently, their energy thrumming like a taut string ready to snap. You cannot understand. You have not suffered as we have. But we can empathize. Sarah cries out, her voice rising above the chaos. We've all faced darkness in our lives. Please. We are here for you, you plead, desperation clawing at your throat. You don't have to fight alone. The shadows seem to hesitate, their forms flickering like candle flames in the wind. Fight with us, they whisper, their voices softening. We are not lost, but the darkness seeks to consume us. Then let's fight together. Adam urges, stepping forward into the pulsating shadows. You can find peace. You can find freedom. With a sudden surge of energy, the shadows lunge, but this time, you feel the light within you flare. Together, you shout, and you and your friends raise your joined hands high. The light radiates outward, pushing back against the encroaching darkness. We see you. We honor your pain. We release you, you cry, your voice echoing with determination. As the shadows writhe, a blinding flash erupts, illuminating the basement with a warmth that feels like a long-lost embrace. The whispers crescendo into a desperate scream, a cacophony of emotions crashing around you. Join us, they plead, their anguish palpable. We are trapped in this cycle. Help us break free. Release your pain, you shout, your heart racing as you channel the power of your collective will. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. The shadows convulse, their forms twisting and spiraling as they seem to lose cohesion. We will not let you go, they roar, a final desperate attempt to cling to their darkness. But you and your friends push back harder. You are loved. You are seen, you declare, your voice ringing with strength. Embrace the light. Embrace the freedom that awaits you. The shadows shatter, a burst of energy erupting into the room. You shield your eyes as the brilliance envelopes you, a wave of warmth flooding your senses. The cries of anguish fade, replaced by a soothing silence, as if a great weight has been lifted. As the light begins to dim, you slowly lower your hands. The basement is still and quiet, the oppressive energy replaced by a sense of peace. You exchange glances with your friends, your hearts racing, the realization sinking in. Did we do it? Thomas breathes, his eyes wide with disbelief. I think so, you reply, your voice trembling with relief. I think we finally helped them find peace. But just as you start to breathe easy, the atmosphere shifts once more. The remnants of the storm outside swirl ominously, and a chill creeps into the room. You feel a dark presence lingering, almost as if the shadows are regrouping, coiling back like a snake preparing to strike. Stay vigilant, you warn, your heart pounding again. Something's not right. Before you can process it, the basement door slams shut with a deafening bang, plunging you back into darkness. Adam, you call out, panic surging through you. What's happening? You fumble for your phone, the light flickering weakly against the oppressive blackness. The air feels thick with anticipation, and you can hear the distant rumble of thunder, now mixed with something else, low, guttural growls that echo through the walls. Get back. Adam shouts, and you turn just in time to see shadows gathering in the corners of the room, creeping closer like an insidious fog. What do we do? Sarah asks, her voice trembling. Together. We face it together, you command, trying to keep the fear at bay. We've faced darkness before, and we can do it again. The shadows surge forward, and you lock hands with your friends once more, forming a barrier of light against the encroaching gloom. You can feel the energy crackling around you, and deep within, you know this fight is far from over. Let's finish this, you shout, channeling every ounce of courage you can muster. We will not be afraid. As the shadows converge, you stand firm, ready to confront the darkness once more. The final battle is upon you, and you know the echoes of the past will demand a reckoning. Together, you will face whatever comes next. Chapter 20, Echoes of the Past. The shadows swirl menacingly, their tendrils reaching toward you like fingers grasping for prey. The air thickens with tension, electric and alive, as you and your friend stand your ground. Together, you shout again, your voice steady despite the turmoil around you. We can do this. As if responding to your command, a surge of energy pulses through the room. The light from your phones flickers wildly, and for a brief moment, the shadows seem to hesitate, their dark forms quivering. You think you can banish us, they hiss, their voices a dissonant chorus of anger and despair. We are a part of you. You clench your fists, determination flooding your veins. No. You may have haunted our town, but you do not define us. We will break this cycle. The shadows lurch forward, but this time, you feel a powerful force rising within you, a strength born from hope, love, and the shared experience of facing the darkness together. You and your friends lift your arms, channeling that energy into a brilliant light that pierces through the oppressive gloom. Feel the warmth of our light, you shout, your voice rising above the chaotic whispers. We are not afraid. We release you. The shadows writhe and twist, their anguished cries echoing off the walls, filling the basement with an overwhelming sense of despair. You can feel their pain, their fear, but you also sense a flicker of something else, a longing for freedom, for release. Embrace the light. Sarah urges, her voice fierce. You don't have to be trapped anymore. With each word, the shadows begin to flicker and fade, their forms unraveling like smoke in the wind. The oppressive weight in the room lightens, and you feel the air shift, charged with the energy of your collective will. But just as victory seems near, a chilling laughter echoes through the basement, sending a shockwave of dread coursing through you. You think you can escape your fate, a voice taunts, low and gravelly. You are all so naive. You freeze, heart racing, as a dark figure emerges from the shadows, tall and imposing, cloaked in darkness. It seems to absorb the light, twisting it into grotesque shapes. I am the true darkness, it growls, eyes glowing like coals. You have merely displaced the shadows. They are part of a greater whole. Who are you? Adam demands, his voice a mix of defiance and fear. I am the culmination of their pain, their despair, the figure hisses, its voice dripping with malice. And now, you will join them. The darkness lunges, and you brace yourself, ready to confront the embodiment of all that has haunted your town. But just as the shadows reach for you, a warm light breaks through the chaos. It envelopes you, and for a moment, you feel a sense of peace wash over you. Remember the bonds we share, you whisper, channeling that warmth into your voice. We will not be defeated. With that, you push against the darkness, focusing your energy on the light. The figure shrieks, its form beginning to unravel under the onslaught. No. This cannot be. As the shadows dissolve into the brilliance, the last remnants of darkness seem to cling to you, an echo of the pain that has haunted your town for so long. You watch as the figure collapses, fading into the light, and with it, the haunting whispers begin to quiet. Breathing heavily, you feel a sense of triumph wash over you. But then, as the final remnants of darkness dissolve, a familiar voice calls out to you, soft and sorrowful. Thank you for finally letting us go. You turn, startled, to see the shimmering figure of Jacob Whitmore standing before you, bathed in the warm light that now fills the basement. You freed us, he says, his expression a mixture of gratitude and longing. But there's still so much you don't understand. Jacob, you breathe, stunned. Are you at peace? He nods slowly. For now, yes. But remember, the darkness you faced was only a fraction of what lies beneath. It hungers for a host, and the cycle will never truly end unless you confront it again. Your heart drops as his words hang in the air, heavy with meaning. The realization washes over you, this battle may have been won, but the war is far from over. As Jacob's figure fades, a chilling truth settles in your mind, the echoes of the past are persistent, and the darkness may yet find another way back into your lives. You exchange worried glances with Thomas, Adam, and Sarah. The bonds you share are strong, but now you understand the price of peace, an eternal vigilance against the darkness that lingers, waiting for a moment of weakness. And somewhere deep within, a nagging doubt arises, can you truly keep it at bay? Or will the shadows one day rise again, drawing you back into the depths?